Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of the Sneak Preview, a Filmgazm Productions podcast that follows the current film calendar. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Caleb Leger.
And we've got a big, fat, girthy episode for you today. Talking about 7 movies today. It's not usually this big. It was big 4th of July weekend this year. We've got Till Death, No Sudden Move, America the Motion Picture, Fear Street Part 1, 1994, Werewolves Within, The Tomorrow War, and The Forever Purge. Jesus. We were both able to watch all 7 of these films, which I still can't fucking believe we did that.
It's like first a huge chunk of my social life.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about all of them, with The Forever Purge being our primary focus of discussion. But first, let's take a look at what happened last week in film. Last week in film. We've got 4 trailers to discuss this week. First up, Beckett, a political thriller starring John David Washington that lands on Netflix August 13th. This looks interesting. I'm not a very big fan of political thrillers. I think they all kind of are the same movie. But I like John David Washington, so I'm willing to give this one a shot.
Nice. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say because I actually did not watch this trailer. Now that I think about it, I don't know how much I'll say because I don't know what the next 3 trailers do. I've seen so many films this week. I can't remember if I watched any fucking trailers this week. I'm like you, with political thrillers, it's like a mixture of them just kind of being the same. They don't always excite me. I don't get really in. It's hard for me to get into a movie where you have to know all the lingo, and especially with a political thriller. You gotta know a little bit of political lingo usually with those movies. So it's I'm always kind of in an arm's length with those things. I've seen the occasional one that draws me in, but most of the time,
It's not about lingo for me. It's just that it's always the same. You don't understand what's going on here, or somebody somewhere is making a play for some seat on some council, and some dude just happens to find out, and now the entire government is hunting him. And I just never believe it. It is always so ridiculous. It always feels like it's written by somebody who's heard of politics but doesn't actually know how they work. And they're a dime a dozen. There's usually 2 or 3 come out a year. We've already had Without Remorse this year, so here's our second one.
yeah, we got our Prime got out another one of their damn Tom Clancy things to say on Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Now we're getting this one out. So, but not trying to be a dick towards the streaming services, because there have been really good movies released on streaming services. We're going to talk about some today, actually.
Yeah.
But for the most part, a lot of what comes on streaming services is pretty much just following whatever is famous and popular right now. We'll get them money because they got to get money on their invisible printing machines.
Well, with streaming, it really just feels like, casting a wide net and just hoping you catch anything. There's no focus, really. It's just, we're going to release everything we can possibly buy up and hope something sticks. And if it does, we'll throw our money towards that. If not, no big loss.
Yeah. Especially Netflix. Netflix is the biggest offender of this.
Yeah.
They do it the worst. I will say the best. Quick little shout to Shudder. They are the best because they do look at what's really tracking on the circuits, on the festival circuits.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing really hot in the community, and they will grab it to put it on that service. So they tend to I tend to go to them quicker on stuff than other ones because they try to actually get good stuff that you usually won't see get put anywhere else.
That's true. And I wish I had more of a kind of, I wish I could notice more with Shudder. I feel like their stuff is very off the radar. Every time they launch something, I feel like I find out about it 2 or 3 weeks after it comes out.
Yeah, it was really because I get on by discussing, and they'll pick it up during the festival run. Mandy got picked up by Shudder when it was still hitting festivals and still coming out in theaters and limited theaters. And it didn't come out, I think, on the site for another, I'd say 3 or 4 months, because I think they make a deal where it's they do their little festival one, and then they go, it's a DVD, Blu-ray, try to get some physical sales up, and then they go to Shudder which I guess boosts them more on the physical sales because Shudder will put anything out that they stream on physical media, which I love.
Yeah.
So they take their time, but it's worth it. Like there's one coming, I want to say this month, called Jacob's Wife that I've heard about for months and months and months. It's been in my Fangoria. I've seen it on all the sites, and they picked it up. I think it's finally coming out this month. I do plan on checking it out. Psycho Golden was another one that was hitting the circuits like crazy, and was getting all this like praise and stuff, and it finally got put onto the service last month.
Well, here's hoping we can grab, Jacob's Wife before it comes out. I'd like to get one of those on the sneak preview. I just always seem to find out after the fact.
Same. They usually do a big announcement, then I forget until I'm checking Shudder, and I'm like, oh shit, that's on there now.
Okay. Well, Beckett comes out on Netflix August 13th. Probably won't make a splash, and it'll just kind of fall into like the Netflix void where all of these movies seem to pop. I see them advertised for like 2 weeks, and then they just vanish, and you only find them if you're looking for them. It's weird. They don't really seem to care about their movie output. And most of their shows either. They don't really care either. I don't really know how they make money.
Don't know.
Next up, Jolt, which is basically a gender-flipped Crank reboot starring Kate Beckinsale and a great ensemble cast. Lands on Prime Video July 23rd. And this, like I said, this looks identical to Crank. I mean, it's just a woman this time. She's wearing like an electric vest that keeps her heart rate stable or something, and then she needs to charge it if she gets too crazy. Something like that. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. I saw the doing itself doesn't really look like anything I haven't seen before, but I mean, look, I can't admit it. I'm a dude. Kate Beckinsale is super attractive, and I'll watch it just to look at her kick ass. Since she's not giving me a conclusion to the Underworld franchise anytime soon, I'll watch this.
Yeah, I've got this show, so y'all know I'll watch it. I have to.
Is it really that bad to watch something with Kate Beckinsale, though? I mean, at least you have that much going for it.
Yeah, but there's this trend in Hollywood right now of just find a movie that people used to like, slap a new coat of paint on it, and just market it as something new. And I'm tired of this. There's a few movies we watched, for this episode that are exactly that, and it really bugged me. So yeah, I don't like that. I like originality. I don't mind sequels as long as they actually progress the story. I don't like rehashes. I really fucking hate rehashes. And I feel like a lot of stuff this like during, especially this year with, streaming, I feel like I've seen a lot more this year than I have in the past.
Yeah, it was almost like they're making up for last year.
Yeah, but make up for some new shit. Like, give me something original, some original thought.
No, they want to give you everything that was supposed to come out last year first, and then we'll get there. So we'll probably have to wait till 2022.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Next up, Don't Breathe 2, the long-awaited sequel that seems to suggest the terrifying blind man, played by Stephen Lang, may be the hero this time around. Debuts in theaters August 13th. I see you shaking your head there.
I know, because I did an interview right after the trailer, and Fede Alvarez made it very clear. He goes, he's not the good guy.
Okay, good, because the trailer really fucking made it look like he was the good guy.
No, you forgot that one line that guy says to the chick in the trailer. He goes, he's not who you think he is. Remember the guys in the mask who are the bad guys on this movie. They say that to that Gore. He's not who you think he is. So based off that line and what they said in the interview, there's more to this than what they're showing in that trailer.
Okay.
And that they were very adamant. They're like, he's not the good guy. We are very aware of what went down in the first movie. We made the movie. They're like, we're telling a story that is a very natural progression, and you can draw your own conclusions of what you think of this guy after. But no, he's not good. You understand what he did?
Good, because I don't know who edited that trailer, but they really should have maybe tried a different approach, because the trailer gives you kind of like, they burn his house down. They kidnap this girl, and he's like going to go save her. And I'm like, so this is the dude we're relating to now, the guy who tried to rape a girl with a turkey baster. Okay, great. So I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I mean, I hope they're not trying to do that to save face. But I got from that interview and like said that line that was in the trailer when the guy's like, he's not who you think he is.
Yeah,
does make me think that there's a lot more that they kind of left out of the marketing to wait till you go see the movie. Which, if so, it's probably some of the best marketing we've seen in film in a while. Then
that's true.
That doesn't happen often, it seems, nowadays.
People are talking about it. I'm surprised we even got a trailer. I honestly thought this was going to get pushed because I've heard nothing about this for a long time. But here it is. They did it, I guess, in secret.
Yeah, I know we've been saying that. Like, I'm surprised it doesn't get pushed. I'm at a point now where I'm not surprised nothing's getting pushed. It just seems like everything somehow got filmed without us knowing.
Yeah,
and they're just taking their time. And I guess for weekends like this, they're just taking their time to actually like release trailers. So there's actual hype when these films come out. Because I think there is the added battle of like not all theaters are fully open up in some places where it's still bad.
Well, hopefully by when's that coming out? August 13th. Yeah, hopefully by August and then into the fall, we'll be a little bit more stable, like as a nation. Finally, and I am so excited for this. The Many Saints of Newark, the long-awaited Sopranos prequel film starring Michael Gandolfini, son of the late, great James Gandolfini, as a teenage Tony Soprano, the role that made his father an icon. This debuts in theaters and on HBO Max October 1st, and I am so psyched. I'm a massive Sopranos fan. I'm 3 seasons deep into a rewatch, and I'm hoping I can finish it before this comes out so it's all fresh. But this looks so good. David Chase, the guy who created the show, is helming and writing this. This is going to be so good. An amazing cast. John Bernthal, Ray Liotta, Corey Stoll. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah, I have not seen the show.
I know.
So at first I held off on this trailer, but then I finally watched it actually recently. And yeah, as someone who hasn't seen the show, the movie itself still looks good. Like, I think that really does show confidence in what they got, that the guy who did the show is coming back for this and is the one in charge of this. Yeah. The cast is utterly insane. And yeah, I think it's awesome that they got James Gandolfini's son to play his character. Like, that is really good casting, especially if it, based off trailer, looks like he's going to pull it off.
Yeah. As someone who's seen the entirety of The Sopranos, like, well done. He's got the essence of a young, angsty Tony Soprano down pat. This is going to be great. And it looks like, like you said, if you haven't seen the show, this does look like it could stand on its own as a really cool gangster film. So I hope that's the case.
Yeah, because if I would say I would love to rewatch the show. If I was younger with less responsibilities, I could achieve that within the time it comes out now. But let's just be realistic. I probably won't be able to achieve that. So if I just end up just seeing the movie without having watched the show still, hopefully, yeah, it does stand on its own because it as a movie, it did look really good. It drew my attention.
Oh yeah, I've watched this trailer a few times. It's just like that little sting of music at the end is the Sopranos theme song. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's great. I got the same vibe when I saw the Dr. Sleep trailer and they used the Shining music at the end, like just to tease people. That's the vibe. Oh. Like, I got the same chills. So this is going to be sweet. And they've been talking about this movie for a long time now. I was starting to doubt if it was ever going to happen. And here we are. So, yes.
Nice.
All right. That's it for trailers. Let's talk about the rest of what happened last week in film. Ron Perlman is voicing the beast robot Optimus Primal in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. And as much as I don't know what the hell I just said, I do love Ron Perlman. So that's cool.
So yeah, I like Ron Perlman. Definitely has like a unique enough voice to voice a Transformer. A little bit that I looked up for this movie, it sounds like they're trying to continue the essence of like Bumblebee, which that was probably like, I think for a lot of people, the only good Transformers movie. So if they do continue down that route, hey, good for them. I hope they have success, and I'll enjoy it because I actually did really like Bumblebee. So I'm open to this series if Michael Bay stays away from it.
I gave up after Age of Extinction. I have not seen The Last Night or Bumblebee, and honestly, I don't think I will.
Don't watch Last Night. I've tried that movie twice, and my head literally hurt. I had to take an aspirin. Afterwards, like I've never gotten a headache from watching a movie, so I sat through that and tried to wrap my head around what the fuck was happening. I do highly, highly recommend Bumblebee. Like, if you want a Transformers film that should, like, what you envision a Transformers film to be, it's Bumblebee. That one I do recommend seeing.
Well, I think the biggest problem is like throughout my childhood and into adulthood, I've never given a shit about the Transformers. So I don't really care is the big part of it. So if the movies already suck and I already don't care about the source material, I don't, it's not worth my effort. It's really not.
That's fair. But we also have this podcast, so you might want to do your homework.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Again, just watch Bumblebee. Just look. I'll get into my feelings on Michael Bay. We're going to talk about a little till death and in relation to the actress involved in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. When Rise of the Beast comes out, which I think is like 2022, 23.
22.
All right. When that comes out, the week leading up, I'll do exactly what I did with I didn't give a shit about The Purge till the new one came out, and then I watched them and I'm like, these are pretty good. So I think I'll just do the same thing. I'll just fucking bite the bullet and watch all these shit films again and the new ones.
I'll say it on my end. I'll say it. I'll die on hill on this stance. I like the first three. They're entertaining. Come at me, film fans.
I think they're stupid. I think they're product placement. I think that, well, that's pretty much all I've got to say. They're stupid.
And you are completely right. And I acknowledge those faults, and I still enjoy the first three.
Good on you. Good on you. I bought them because of you, and I still have them because I can't give away movies. I just can't do it. I don't care how bad the movie is. It's part of the collection.
My parents gave me Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, and It's a terrible movie, but I still have it. It's in there now.
Well, Transformers, it's never going away because they are a $1 billion franchise. There's always going to be another one, regardless of how many times they end it.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as Michael Bay stays out of it, it'll be in much better hands. I think he really I will say he did kind of fuck up any interest in this series.
That's what he does. There is a Scott Weiland biopic in the works based off the late Stone Temple Pilots singer's memoir, Not Dead and Not for Sale. It's early yet, but it's in development. Intrigued. I love rock biopics. I've enjoyed Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody and Get On Up, and I enjoy these. So yeah, Scott Weiland. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, same. I know I've said probably a couple times on other shows we've done about wanting to see some of the stuff I grew up with in movie form. Yeah. So this is literally getting there. Like, this is the closest right now. Is a Scott Weiland, because I like Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was obviously growing up. I was born in '92, so I grew up hearing their songs on the radio all the time. They were big, and it's finally happening. I'm getting a music biopic that I so close to some of the stuff I listen to, which means eventually some of those other guys will start getting them too.
You'll get your Slipknot movie someday, I promise.
One day, hopefully for the day I die. That and Rob Zombie. Just give me those.
Rob Zombie should make his own fucking movie, and that would be crazy. Spielberg can do it. Why can't Rob Zombie?
Yeah, right. I would have said Manson, but that has been tarnished.
Someone's going to make that movie still. It's just not going to be about his music.
No. Or if it is, it's going to have not the happiest of ending compared to most biopics.
No, it will not. This was interesting. You won't care about this, but I was fascinated. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences have changed the rules regarding the Best Original Score qualifications this year. Before, a film's score had to be at least 60% original music to be considered, and that percentage has now dropped to 35%, which seems ridiculously low for Best Original Score. Also, there will be a set 10 Best Picture nominees going forward. Not a fan of that. I liked when it was 5. It felt a lot more inclusive. Now it's like fucking participation trophy. But 35%. Like, Why even bother writing a score? Just
I'll say it's best original score, right?
yeah, it's not just best score; it's best original score.
It should be 100% original. There should be no. Why is that even being talked?
I don't know. It's
I hate the Academy Awards. I hate them. Okay, I'm good now.
like in 1972, Nino Rota got his nomination for the Godfather score revoked because a good chunk of that score was not an original composition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Best original. Score. Yeah, best original score. It should be an original piece.
Yeah. And now, I guess it doesn't matter, which is really fucking stupid, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like we're saying, you know what, all you composers of Hollywood, fuck off. We don't want you anymore.
Oh boy. Well, I'm interested to see the fallout of this. The Oscars keep kind of almost devolving into trying to please everybody.
Yeah, and I thought they did 10 nominations at one point for Best Picture. Realized it was too much and went back down to 5. I thought that happened already.
Dude, there was a time when it was like there was a time back in the early days of the Oscars when it was like 20 films. Like there's a couple, like 1942, for instance, I think has like 15 nominations or nominees. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, I think we're slowly going back to that, and I don't like that. 5 is what it should be. 5 is these are the greatest this year had to offer for film.
Yeah, well, and to me, like, okay, and again, let me preface with saying, Austin, I know you're listening to this. I still highly enjoyed the Toy Story episode with you and Connor.
Hey, we like if you listen to the Oscar Sunday podcast, we spend a good chunk of that show shitting on the Oscars.
I do,
claiming that they make terrible decisions constantly.
Yeah, I'll say I do. It's whenever you guys pick a movie I've seen, I do. But all this said, that's out of the way. The reason it makes me mad with like this 10 nominations and all that shit is because I know how the Oscars are going to work. 5 of those are going to count, be actual picks that they want.
Yeah.
The other 5 is going to be them going, look, see, we're being diverse. See, we're hip with the young crowd. See, we're doing this. Yeah. If, God bless, when an actor dies at some point in the year, oh, see, look, we're nominating their movie posthumously. Look at that. Like, that's what it's going to be. That's what those 5, I feel like, are going to end up being. They're going to be just the ones that they can just say, like, look, we are hip and cool and diverse and blah, blah, blah. But really, we don't give a shit about these. We just give a shit about the actual 5 we want.
I lost all respect for the Academy Voting Committee when I found out they don't even watch the whole film. They watch a 15-minute clip package. So, fuck them.
Aren't they literally just paid to watch movies? Like, that's their job.
Yeah, and they don't even watch the whole damn movie. We put in far more legwork for the Oscars than they fucking do.
I watched 7 movies on my own money. Okay, 3 of them on my own money. You know what? All of them on my own money, monthly subscriptions. There we go.
Well, like this past Oscars, Austin and I, to prep for the Academy episode we did, watched all of the movies that were up for Best Picture because that's what you should do. And we weren't even voting on shit. Like why is that crazy?
It's not. And it happens once a year. So they could literally devote a month of their life to just watching these movies. Well, taking breaks, obviously, giving time to really think about it. I know you gotta, if you watch me and we're kind of just fucking your mind melts based off our James Bond marathon.
Well, that was, 25 films over the course of like a week and a half. The Oscars has the entire fucking movie season to watch these films.
Yeah.
Like, that's not crazy. That's very doable. I know, because I do it every fucking year.
I said they're literally, again, they are paid to watch these movies. They're getting, not even paid, they're paid to get sent screeners. So they don't have to go, they can go home. They go home.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't go to the theater. They get to go to their comfy home, take their bathroom breaks, make a little drink for themselves. Like, they can do whatever they want. Their dog needs to go take a shit. They can pause the goddamn movie. Anyone else has to sit in the seat and wait for it to end. They can pause and go, let the dog go take a shit, come back in, resume movie.
Yeah, these are the people who are dictating what art is to the movie community, and I don't respect that. What Oscar Sunday is all about is the films that were counted by the Academy. That's where we throw our attention. That's where we throw the love. So, as always, respect the art, fuck the artist for the most part. And these guys are just, a board member, like they're what's it like? Just they're a board who don't actually put the work in. So I'll never understand the Academy, and God knows we're trying.
Yeah, they don't put the work in, and then like I read from some like when they nominated Get Out that one year, I read from a lot of the younger board members that were on the team that year that apparently the older board members were bitching about the movie and that they had to watch that.
Of course they were.
They were like, "Oh, we don't want it." And I'm like, so it's like, dear God, they do any change outside of what they like.
Well, I guess we'll, the Oscars are always going to be in the movie news. You'll hear about them here. You'll hear about them on Oscar Sunday. You'll hear about them on Filmgazm. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And as we're getting closer to award season too. So, buckle up. And finally, and this is so weird, but I love this. Elizabeth Banks is directing a film based on the true story of a grizzly bear that stumbled onto a cache of cocaine in the woods, ate all of it, and promptly died of an overdose. Apparently, there was a short period there where you could have been hiking in the woods and stumbled onto a fully coked out grizzly bear, and that would have been the end for you. And this actually happened. The film is titled Cocaine Bear, because why not? And it's going to star Kerry Russell, Ray Liotta, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and Alden Ehrenreich. And I honestly cannot wait for this. I know this story. It's the fucking craziest story. This guy, this drug runner, was jumping out of a plane. He had too much product. He had to drop it. The coke, like 40 pounds of coke, landed in the woods, and this bear just stumbled onto it and had himself a feast. It's insane. I can't wait for this movie. Cocaine Bear.
I want to see this movie, but I've kind of like lost any hype and respect for Elizabeth Banks as a director.
I know.
After her rant she made about the failure of Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
And not just owning up that she made a movie that no one wanted to see.
Yeah.
That people just did not like. So I am going to have reservation because God bless this one bombs and she blames all men in the ward that they don't want to go see it. So
I get where you're coming from, but here's my rebuttal. If you make a movie like Charlie's Angels, a movie that nobody wants to see, a movie that bombs, so naturally you want to make something that everybody wants to see, something that's all inclusive, something that is going to put you on the map. And what could be better than fucking Cocaine Bear? Who's going to say no to that? Who's not going to want to see Cocaine Bear?
If the trailer grabs me, I'm not saying no to it. I'm just trepidatious so I see footage. Not after how she acted. It's like, all right.
Well, I'm hoping this is played as like a creature feature action thriller where like a team of commandos are brought in to like hunt down the Coke Bear or something like that.
I think we missed an opportunity to have Nicolas Cage in this movie.
It's early yet, but yeah, he does seem like born for a role like this. Maybe he'll play the bear.
Or he gets his Con Air hair back. It's nice, long and flowing.
It's not even Cage in like a real bear costume. It's Cage in like a bear, like a hat that has like bear ears, and then he's just Nicolas Cage on fucking coke. I'd pay extra to see that movie.
I would look after seeing Mandy in that whole scene when he goes on acid.
Yeah,
loses his mind. Like I've learned that I really want to see more movies where Cage trips on drugs because it's glorious to watch.
Yeah, imagine Cage on like 40 pounds of coke, just thinks he's a fucking bear and just attacking commandos in the woods or whatever the hell this movie's going to be about. I'm so excited for Cocaine Bear. When I read they were making this into a movie, I got giddy. I'm like, oh my God. I looked into it like, this is going to be fun. I can't wait for Cocaine Bear.
I will get giddy if the trailer sells me. Like I said, had she kept her mouth shut on the Charlie's Angels thing, I would probably be more excited. But that really, like, I don't like that you can't admit no one wants to see your movie. And you just immediately blame people like, man, well, it's because men don't want to see it. I'm like, no, there's plenty of successful films led by females.
Yeah. She seemed to forgot that like no women went and bought a ticket either. Like nobody wanted to see this movie. It's not just
like,
men.
No, it wasn't just men. Women didn't see it. And you forget that the last Halloween movie, 3 generations of female family members in that movie, the Strode family.
Yeah.
That was one of the most successful Halloween film. It made $250 million. So yes, yeah, people don't mind seeing a female fronted fucking movie.
Well, just look at the first Charlie's Angels. I mean, that's a fun, enjoyable movie I go back to constantly. I really like it.
It was a huge hit. It got a sequel.
Yeah. So it's not, people don't hate female-led movies. They just hated yours. Yeah. So don't fuck up Coke Bear. Seriously. I want this. I need this.
Yeah, no, like, look, the premise, I want it. I want to see this ridiculous movie. I just hope I will wait for the trailer and then cast judgment.
I have already 100% like gotten myself on board with Cocaine Bear, if that's not clear. Like, I don't need a trailer. This movie could come out right now. I will go see a midnight screening. I don't give a shit. I want Coke Bear. This is all I'm going to be thinking about for a few years.
This screams like a Seth Rogen movie.
It sounds like a Kevin Smith movie more than anything. Like, I remember he was trying to make Moose Jaws, and this feels very much in the vein of Moose Jaws.
Yeah, that didn't happen because his last one that was supposed to lead into it didn't do too great.
Oh, Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, there it is. That's the name of it.
With the Bratzi. Yeah. I didn't know there was enough drugs on the planet to come up with that horseshit. Yeah. Nazi sausage. That's a real thing in culture now. Oh boy. Well, that'll fit snugly on our new thing that we'll be announcing in a couple months.
Oh yes. Oh god damn it. That would explain the type of films I'm going to be watching for that.
I'm gonna do the whole damn thing in like a Minnesota Canadian accent.
I'm gonna have costumes. I'm just gonna make costumes that only benefit us and no one else.
Oh my god. Coke Bear. Can't wait. That is all for last week in film. One last thing before we move on. I hope that in Cocaine Bear, there's a line kind of like in Godzilla versus Kong, where somebody's just like, oh my God, is that bear on meth? And somebody takes off their sunglasses and, oh no, that's Cocaine Bear. Something like that. I want them to not take it seriously in the slightest.
Right before they fight Cocaine Bear, you got the dudes from Godzilla. Let them fight.
Oh yeah. Coke Bear versus like, Meth Tiger or something like that. Like, I want a franchise of just drugged out predators. Oh, who knows where this could lead?
So many places.
Crack Donkey versus Coke Bear. All right, anyway, let's get into our self-imposed movie marathon, starting with the first one that came out, America, the Motion Picture. Seems appropriate considering we're recording this on the 4th of July. Holy shit. What the fuck was this?
I was actually really down for this concept, just the kitchen sink approach to making fun of our history. Because I kind of get the point. It was in a way, they were going so out there with it to poke fun and shed light on issues we're having today. Especially I really came to the front when the end of the movie, everyone started fighting. So it was clearly a way to kind of poke fun at ourselves now.
Yeah.
And I was actually really on board. All the ridiculous stuff, Benedict Arnold being a werewolf. I'm yeah, fuck it, I'm down. Okay. It was a joke. It was not meant to take itself seriously. So that part I was down for. If only it was funnier though.
Yeah. I didn't like that. It was a satire partly. Like you said, all the issues and stuff that it tried to tackle, it only really brought them up in the last 5 minutes. And it wasn't that funny. It was really stupid. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge history buff, and it really bothered me seeing George Washington and Abraham Lincoln hang out. Abraham Lincoln was part of the fucking revolution. That really bugged me. It shouldn't have, because it's a stupid movie, but it really got under my skin. More than the werewolf, more than the fucking steeping people in tea to turn them British. All that shit didn't bother me, but Lincoln and Washington hanging out, that really got me.
Yeah, I didn't have the issue because again, it was just meant to be funny. It was all in good fun.
I know.
Like, yeah, I think like we're saying, man, if it had just been like more funnier, because like there was little jokes here and there throughout the movie that were kind of catering like this is a satire about America as it is now.
Yeah.
But because the jokes were just like that new standard, I think the Lord and Miller were attached to this, I believe, and they're known for that rapid fire, just boom, 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 joking.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it works. Everything else I've seen in this, it makes me laugh like crazy. This one though, most of the jokes just didn't land enough for me. That it was like sitting through a bunch of those and then finally hand one that made me go ah ha ha before we finally move to the next one.
And also, why is the bad guy King James? It's King fucking George. Like, why change that little thing? That was just to piss off the history nerds like myself. I guarantee you that's why that was there. And it worked.
It really worked because it did not bother me at all.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I chomped on the bait for sure.
Yeah, you did. I did get a good chuckle out of the Sam Adams character. Like he had a lot of funny lines to me.
Yeah.
Especially like when he kept making like the race jokes. I was like, oh my fucking God.
I thought it was hilarious that they took on a pub called Vietnam. And then like they're all talking about how they lost that battle, and Sam Adams like, what are you fucking talking about? We won Vietnam. That was cute. A little on the nose, but it made me laugh.
Yeah, like I said, like a lot, like for the most part, the jokes that did landed really well. Like
Yeah,
you got the point. I was like, okay, this is like, yeah, like the Vietnam thing was funny. Like how you don't even see what happens in the thing. Again, kind of referencing like how we really didn't see that war. It was televised to us.
Yeah,
but we really don't know what's going on in the way we treat people afterwards. So yeah, a lot of the jokes landed, but still, there's a lot of times where I was kind of sitting there like.
I thought it was cool that Killer Mike from Run the Jewels was blacksmith. And I love that he was a smith and he was black, so they just called him he's a blacksmith. That was so stupid.
Yeah, I do, and this is I think it's funny between this movie, because the person that played Washington's wife was voiced by Judy Greer.
Yeah.
Between this and Archer, it's always like so weird to me to see Judy Greer and stuff where she's like a mom type or like she's very like a good person. Well, man, mine's Into the Dark episode I watched, where she just get a little freaky in the movie. And but then you watch these shows and she's very sexual. I'm like, what is it like? You see her in this, and then she's like in a recording studio moaning for the movie.
Oh my God. I thought it was funny how, like, in that passing line, I'm pretty sure I heard this when George and Martha have a kid, and the kid's name is Denzel.
Yeah.
Like, just what the fuck? Like, it felt like, I think the way I described it was like a Florida State frat boy ODs on coke while he's studying for his history final, and this is what's going through his head as he's ODing. Just all of American history happening at the same time. It was the weirdest movie I've seen in years, and I wish it had been funnier. Like, It felt like that America Fuck Yeah song from Team America World Police turned into a movie.
Yeah. Like, so I was really, when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I'm down with this. If you're going for comedy, I say, yeah, throw in the kitchen sink and just see what happens, And they did. It could have been a funnier movie. Yeah. Had it been, it probably hands on be one of my more favorite animated comedies I've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
It just barely missed the mark for me.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
Same.
Yeah, damn shame. I wish they'd marketed that longer. Like, we got a trailer for that like 3 days before it came out.
Yeah, Netflix, some movies they market out the ass. Like, there's one I'm going to talk about that they were marketing for a good month or two. But that was because it's like a big 3-week event. They were like, hey, get ready. It's coming. Get ready. This one they went in 3 days. Watch it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I get that it's the 4th of July, but a little time would have been nice because I was like I had to adjust like when am I going to watch this movie? Like why do I want to watch this movie? Like I had to kind of figure out like how does this fit into what I was going to do this weekend?
I just watched it when it came out. I was like, I'll just watch it when it comes out. So then I can figure out my weekend with the other 6 films we had to watch.
I just wish it was better. Till Death. The movie I didn't even know about until you had brought it up and we threw it on the schedule. I knew nothing about this. And I thought it was okay. I didn't expect much, admittedly. But what we got, I felt was kind of half-baked. Your thoughts?
I personally really like this one. I kind of went in not because I mean, look, admittedly, like Fox has kind of had a rough career as of late. Like she's kind of one of those that she spoke out against Michael Bay, saying that essentially he is what we think he is, a horrendous human being and director.
Yeah.
And yet for some reason he still gets work and she got like mocked, ridiculed, and shunned by Hollywood.
Yeah, those were the days before the Me Too movement.
Yeah. And so, like when I saw that this was getting like the advertisement this, and it was kind of getting pushed as like her really trying to step back and regain her career. I liked this movie a lot, actually. I thought it was like it stayed very simple. It did not try to go too hard. I like how there really was no filler. Like the people that pop up relate to what we saw in the beginning of the movie. It wasn't some let's just show what happened to her, and then this random person reignites her fucking thing. It was like, no, this is a person from her past. Blah blah blah. And like everything, it was a simple movie. I thought it was actually like real tense in a lot of parts when she's trying to evade them. Like the scene when she's like getting out of the basement and they're both converging on her. I was legit like on the edge of my seat, like, holy shit, how's she gonna get out of this? And she figures it out. Yeah. I thought Fox was actually excellent. I really did. I thought she did a good job of showing someone who was stuck in a very controlling marriage in the beginning, very much not happy in the marriage she was in, and then she really rose up as the film progressed into like this kick-ass heroine.
All right, before I get into it, we probably should explain what this movie's about. I don't think a lot of people have seen this. So Till Death, Megan Fox plays a woman who is trapped in a loveless, kind of hateful marriage, is sleeping with her husband's partner at a law firm, and he, on their anniversary, gives her a surprise retreat to a cabin in the woods. She wakes up handcuffed to him, and well, I guess it's not a spoiler, it's on the fucking poster. He blows his brains out right in front of her and forces her to be chained to his lifeless corpse. And you find out that he has established this very elaborate plan to get back at his wife and his partner he knew the whole time, and he's going to fuck them up from beyond the grave. Not a bad premise. Reminded me a little too much of Gerald's Game. And ultimately, I'm against you on Megan Fox. I think Megan Fox is a terrible actress. I didn't buy her performance once in this movie. I've always kind of never really understood why she kept getting like high profile work. I respect her, decision to speak out against Michael Bay, and I hope she can get work. And like, I don't want that to impede her career. I just think she's not very good at it.
See, I thought she was real good in this. I thought she did a great job.
I didn't know. Also, like, she doesn't do anything with her eyes. Like, she never like emotes. She just yells. Like, I don't see anything there. Like, I'm very aware that she's reading a script. Like, I compared it to like, Gerald's Game, Carla Gugino in Gerald's Game. I believe that performance. Like, she brought every bit of her being into I'm trapped and I have to get out of this. And I didn't buy that from Megan Fox.
I bought it, but I can see in the beginning where you're coming from, where she's very lifeless. But again, they established that this marriage is not good, that it is no love. The husband's clearly a control freak. Yeah. Very controlling. I mean, those whole thing about like when she comes in that dress, which any normal human, it's Megan Fox. She looks great. Especially in that, she looks fantastic, but he's like, oh, it's not the red one. I'm like,
yeah, that little bit. And then, she's saying she doesn't want dessert. And he's like, we'll take two. Like, just He was a psycho. Very obviously, he was a psycho. And I
Yeah.
understand, I got the whole like, I'm not in love with this guy. I'm going through the motions vibe from her. But then once he blew his brains out and she's chained to his corpse, nothing changed in her eyes, in her face. She was still just like dead faced, going through it. And I was hoping for a bit of a moment of like reflection and realization, and it never really happened. And even in the end, like the two guys, I feel like totally could have handled that better. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I liked how they just kept it like simplistic and they just utilized people that, well, at least the one guy, it was clear that their guy was just a buddy of his. He got in on the plan.
Yeah.
But the one guy that was from a past event with her involved, and again, really kind of showing how devious her husband got there and thought everything out, especially to the fucking necklace. I really like how they did that, and I felt like she did good as it progressed, and as she was like really regaining herself throughout the movie. I felt that that was like what she was slowly regaining herself throughout the movie, and I don't blame her for not really having a moment of recollection because once she was handcuffed, she's doing what any person would do. How the fuck do I get out of this? And then by the time she's trying to figure that out, there's now a new wrinkle because now you got these fucking guys coming in who she recognizes, one of them obviously, to fuck shit up.
I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree because I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. I've never liked her as an actress. I've never seen anything that's really kind of put me on her side as a performer. This didn't do it. I felt the husband's he's going to just blow his brains out and hope for the best. That's an odd plan. I was hoping for kind of a Saw reveal of like, oh no, he faked it. But then I was like, there's no fucking way you could fake all this. But
I think it just shows how much he underestimated her. She thought, oh, okay, I'll do this, then they'll find her, get the money, probably kill her to, take care of business, and then be done with it. He didn't probably take into account that she was going to figure out how to get out of that situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It didn't wow me. I mean, I'll throw it in the book. This will come up on Filmgazm, I'm sure, at some point. But right now, I'm at a 7, and that's generous.
I gave it an 8.
Oh, I'm swatting away a little tiny moth. That is why Caleb just looked at me funny.
So what are you doing?
I'm not practicing kung fu. I'm swatting away a little bug.
I'm over here dealing with fireworks that haven't stopped for the past 2 hours.
So yeah, Till Death. I don't care for it. If you want to watch it, you can rent it on Vudu or Prime Video for about $7. So yeah, it's your money.
Comes recommended for me. I gave it an 8.
Moving right on into disagreement films. Fear Street Part 1, 1994. I knew I wasn't going to like this. I knew it. I'm starting to notice something about myself. I might not be the biggest fan of slasher films.
Yeah, you went and you really ripped this apart, and this was one of the most fun fucking horror films I've seen this year.
It felt exactly like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It felt like a very similar story to that, to me anyway.
Yeah. Did not feel like that, but again, I'm not comparing movies because both are based off a book.
Well, I ignored the books entirely because I haven't read either one. I'm taking the movies as separate entities, and I think that Scary Stories got ripped off here.
Both books.
Cool.
So, as a fan of the book, this felt like the Fear Street books, but very like the grown-up version. Like, I really liked how they made it basically like it's still an R.L. Stine work. It takes place on Fear Street in Shadyside. You got Sunnyvale, the rivals. All that's still there. All that's being honored. But it is not meant, because Fear Street was meant for teens. Like, that was like Stine's teen book series. Whereas, Goosebumps was his kid one. And I like how with this, it's almost like they went, look, the people who probably read these books are obviously not teenagers anymore. They're older. So let's embrace that. Let's make a film for them that's their honor sign. I thought they did, and that's what it felt like to me. And I thought they did a good job with that. It was nice for like a slasher movie. I did not get the stereotypical characters I usually get. Like it wasn't like the jock and the fucking slut. It wasn't that super stock type this time. They tried to vary it up. Like, yeah, there was a cheerleader, but then you also know that she's a valedictorian and sell trucks. So it was like a little bit more like effort and putting into like who these people are. And also, I love the 90s soundtrack. Again, we're getting to that era of like finally shit that I grew up with becoming nostalgic. So we're getting it more and more, and I love it. So I could not help but love hearing the music on this movie. And also the kills. Dear God, that bread slicer thing made me fucking do a double take.
I will give you major points with the bread slicer. That was so unnecessarily brutal for that character. Like she did not need that. Was head first. Christ almighty.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had heard about this bread slicer thing leading up to this film all week, and every single review, everyone's like, dude, the bread slicer thing, the bread slicer. Like it was just like it's gonna go down in horror history because no one has stopped talking about it. Yeah. So the whole movie, I was like, when's this coming up? I want to see this fucking bread slicer. The moment I saw the thing get turned on, I was like, oh. And then he did it, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's like the film's only good kill.
I thought the axe kill was good when the kid's just standing there and the dude just fucking axes him in the head.
No, I didn't like that.
I liked it. That was a good goddamn kill.
See, I don't have any loyalty to Fear Street. I didn't grow up with that book. I never read Fear Street. So I just see this as kind of a rehash. And this is an unfortunate realization I have to come to, but I think I really just fucking hate slasher films.
So I think it's slashers because it's not that it's not the loyalty thing. It's just, it's hard for me to sit there and agree with you on rehash when this is based off of pre-existing material.
True, so but also like it's barely based. It's like, I read it was like very barely based on the books.
I mean, come on. How many movies are barely based on the books?
Not a lot, and they usually suck when that happens.
Scary Stories Still in the Dark was barely based on the books. They just utilized a lot of the characters.
I haven't read the book.
I was like, they just utilize a lot of the characters from the books.
Well, the books are an assortment of short stories, so there's no narrative to follow there.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, it's barely based, but it still does what the Fear Street books do. It's still very much a Fear Street movie. Like I said, it takes place because the books, like, the whole point of that series is that each new book is something new, crazy happening in that fucking town. Just weird shit happens to that town, and that's what this movie was. So the movie, yeah, it didn't really base it off any of the stories, but it did use the plot line to get its own unique story within it. So that's why I say, like, it's hard for me to say rehash when it's based off something. If it was a brand new, not based on anything movie, I would understand your rehash comment completely. But because something already exists that it was based on, I don't know. It's hard for me to do that because they were using what was already put out there.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, I've never read the book, so I didn't see this as something, nostalgic to get into. I saw this as I've seen all this done before. And I have a feeling with the second one, I'm going to feel the same way. Like, oh, summer camp, that's original. So I'm just, yeah, I think, you give me Halloween, give me Scream, everything else you can kind of go.
Can you just have fun with slashers?
I can't. Clearly I can't. I have tried.
Enjoy slashers.
I have tried. I don't like it. It's the same fucking movie every time with various like little changes. And I can't do it anymore. I can't. I'll keep Halloween. I like that. But, Scream is good too. I like a couple Elm Street movies. Jason, go fuck himself. I'm out.
Let's calm down. You need to do a second variant on Friday 13th. So just calm down.
I don't want to do another one. I can't. I watched them all.
You can do a second viewing, especially because you're saying go fuck yourself to the film that's the backbone that inspired literally all the other slashers for the decade. Halloween may have like pushed that door open, but Jason fucking crashed it open.
Jason is standing on Michael's shoulders. Michael is the foundation of this shit because that movie's actually good. And
It was Friday the 13th.
not Friday the 13th is garbage.
Nope. Those are good movies too.
Not you can have them, but I don't want them. Yeah,
God, this is why we won't ever get famous, because you're just like pissing off the horror fans.
I'm not gonna kiss anyone's ass, and I'm not gonna lie. I won't. I can't just. I'm not gonna sit there and just claim that I love Friday the 13th so we can get some number boosts. I would hate myself.
Or you can just come around to the right side and enjoy that series for what it is.
I don't. I don't like them.
Entertaining slasher film.
They're not that. They're the same movie every time. I think that's the franchise. I think that's why I don't like slasher films. This is actually quite freeing.
I feel like you should like slasher films, sir. You need to embrace the slasher.
Nah, I don't. I think I'm, the more horror movies I watch, the more I tend to notice that a lot of things get repeated. And that's really what's starting to bug me. Not a fan of Fear Street. I give it a 6.
Give it an 8 as well.
Cool. Can't wait to have this exact same conversation again next week.
Yes, especially because if every time I get online, you're currently in the minority on your take on Fear Street. It is a massive hit in the horror community right now.
I don't care. They can have it. I don't want it. I'm sorry.
Sir.
I am well aware of how much I'm pissing off a few people with this stance. I don't care. I really don't. I would much rather watch something that's, original and creative instead of just, the exact same slasher movie with a different coat of paint every few years.
It's the kills. You got to watch it for the kills. That's what makes it exciting.
This one, bread slicer, great. Everything else was just basic shit.
Yeah, the axe in the head was cool too. And the stabbing.
It's just stabbing. There's nothing creative about that. It's just stabbing.
So cool.
No.
Yes. Yes.
And I think the second one is going to piss me off even more.
And I'm probably going to like it even more.
There's hope for the third one because it looks like they're going to do like the witch's story. 1666, I think it was called. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully it's not just a fucking, rip off of the witch, but we'll see.
Rip off if it's based off a pre-existing book series.
You can't keep using that as your defense for this thing.
Oh, I will.
God damn it. I don't care for it. I'm not saying I hate horror films. Obviously that's not true. I just kind of hate slasher films. If
you love horror and the awesome side of horror knows the slasher film subgenre, you will like Fear Street.
Yeah. Or if you're like me and you tend to notice that they keep making the same movies, you're probably going to resent this film as much as I do.
Not a hardcore horror buff.
I am in some cases. I'm a movie buff. I'm not a horror buff, not a drama buff, and not a comedy buff. I'm a movie buff. I find shit in every genre and gems. It's nice. Speaking of unfortunate shit, No Sudden Move. Had high hopes for this. Had really high hopes for this.
I think we both mostly agree on this. Our scores, which was mine was lower than yours, but I think we both pretty much agree on this.
Yeah, I gave it points for the performances. I thought everyone was great in this, but the story is so unnecessarily complex and so full of betrayals and whodunits to the point where you just like after the third or fourth reveal, you don't fucking care anymore. It's really like Soderbergh is so good at heist movies too. I don't know what happened here. Like, the Ocean's Trilogy, Logan Lucky, great movies. And then there's this. And it's written by the guy who wrote Bill and Ted, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So that might be some of it. He might be biting off more than he can chew.
Yeah. I have a weird, because I know I literally just gave you shit about the horror scene, but here I guess the snobby, pretentious film buffs come at me. For some reason, if you're some critically acclaimed director, I don't know what it is. I can't get into your fucking movies.
And you had the gall to give me shit for slasher films where that makes even less sense.
Yeah, no, but slashers are more fun. I can have fun with those. I can't have fun with a movie that does I can't have fun with a movie that's like, you want to see fish islands when people move? Yeah, no, fuck you on that.
That was stupid. I'll give you big points on that. That was really stupid.
And look, okay, going back to horror, I personally was a fan of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, but I fucking hated when they did this dumb thing where they would do magic in the show and they would distort the side of the fucking screen.
Yeah.
And their explanation was like, well, so you know when magic's going on. I was like, no, I'm not fucking dumb, asshole. I know what I'm watching. I know when magic's going to fucking happen. You don't need to distort the fucking screen. It's goddamn aggravating. God, 4 seasons of getting aggravated with that. Sorry.
I get you.
So at least with slashers, they're fun. Yeah, like they are basic, simplistic fucking movies.
That's true.
I don't know. I think it's because like, look, okay, I think on my end, a lot of times with these directors, it's not that I hate them as a person or hate the movies, because they do usually have like 1 or 2 movies I do like quite a bit. I think it's just because a lot of times they prefer style a lot more over substance.
I don't know
not
if you can
not all the time, but
I don't know if you can lump in every notable director.
Not every notable director, but like in the case of Soderbergh, you know, he's been so openly against like Hollywood and traditional style filmmaking, blah, 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 very artistic type. So it's more like the really like artistic types. I will give Soderbergh credit. He doesn't seem to have gone as far up his own ass as like someone like Nolan has.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know. There's always something about Soderbergh movies. I just have not gotten into them. There's a weird like distance he does with his fucking movies that I feel that it's hard for me to get into them. Like I watched Ocean's 11. I enjoyed it enough. I have not really been like enticed to go see the other movies. I have seen Ocean's 8, the spinoff.
I don't think that was him though.
It wasn't him. It was actually the one I enjoyed the most. So there's just something with his style that I've never been able to get into. I don't know why. It's nothing against Soderbergh. And this movie, at first I thought when I was doing my review, I was like, well, maybe it's me, right? Because I haven't really been able to get into this guy anyway. But then when I saw the reviews, I saw what you wrote, I was like, okay, maybe it's a little bit me, but also like I'm not the only one that thinks this is a weak film from him.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But check out this cast, this wasted cast. Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, Brendan Fraser, Julia Fox, Ray Liotta, Amy Simons, Kieran Culkin, John Hamm, Noah Jupe, Frankie Shaw, Bill Duke, and fucking Matt Damon. What happened? This should be a no-brainer, perfect, like, you know, period gangster flick. But it's so just hard to follow.
So I'll say this. I know what I just said about Soderbergh. Yes, I agree. The cast did great. The cast themselves were fantastic. And it had me in the beginning when it was getting set up, when they were at the house getting what they wanted. I was hooked. I was like, okay. And when it went wrong, I was like, because when he gave him the letter, knowing that wasn't the real deal, I was like, ooh, okay, here we go. The moment they left the house was when it just went downhill. And like, you know, John Hamm's character pops up, but then disappears throughout the fucking majority of the movie.
Yeah, and he's like a cop, but he works for the car people, but
it's so weird. And like, yeah, people just disappear for long stretches of time. Ray Liotta has like a weird introduction where he seems okay and like loving with his wife, but then beats the living shit out of her. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I did not like the way Ray Liotta's character was handled, because the first half of the movie has them talking about this Frank Capelli like he's some kind of fucking boogeyman. And I was looking forward to like a really dark, evil character. But Ray Liotta's kind of a bumbling idiot in this movie. I mean, they force him into the trunk. You don't force, you know, Don Corleone into the fucking trunk. Like, that's who I was expecting. The way they built that up was like all let down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they build it up, and then like you see his opening scene, and he seems to get along, like him and his wife. It's established that they have a pretty decent relationship, right? Him and wife, or whoever she was. I couldn't quite tell because I was kind of in and out of the movie at that point. And it's like established that, like, okay, they have a pretty good relationship for what he does for a living, right? But then like I guess he dropped the bomb that he's sleeping with her. and he like freaks out and then beats the shit out of her, and then unsurprisingly gets shot and killed. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this characterization? Like, what?
Well, all right. So I'm trying to figure this. All right. So Frank Capelli he didn't hire Brendan Fraser. The Chicago outfit hired Brendan Fraser to steal the info on the car. I don't fucking know. There's so many avenues to follow here. It's impossible.
Even like the end when they go to Matt Damon, like there's a quick moment Matt Damon starts yelling at them and getting angry about the whole money situation. But then they talk to him some more, and all of a sudden he's okay and he leaves and he's cool with them. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, am I missing lines of dialogue? Like, what is happening? I wasn't following simple like scene like people to people interaction. I was so fucking confused.
I love seeing Brendan Fraser again. It's been a long time. He looks rough. I hope all is well. Seeing him play kind of a psycho was cool too. He hasn't done that.
Yeah, I'm like you. It's great. I do hope he loses weight or at least stays healthy, because between Doom Patrol, which I really have liked him in, and you really only mostly get his voice in that, he excels. He was really good in this. Like seeing him as the bad guy was nice, and I thought he kind of got unceremoniously like taken out. Like it was the weirdest death. Like he made a strange face and noise and just fell over.
Well,
and then dead.
Like the whole way they handled Don Cheadle's character of just like, what was his relationship with Bill Duke? Like, did they hate each other? But then he let him off. But then he said he was going to kill him. But
he said he was going to kill him, and then he let him go. And then like with that was weird. Honestly, I thought the whole thing where like she shot Benicio del Toro's character was weird.
That made no sense. Came out of nowhere.
There was no establishment that she would do that. Like it was like they'd been secretly sleeping together before this was a thing. So it was established that they had a true like connection. They were into each other, and then all of a sudden she kills him for the money. But then gets like one briefcase taken from her.
She's married to a mob boss. Like how she can't be hard up for money. Like this felt like a whole bunch of cliches just kind of crunched into a shitty diamond.
Yeah, with weird fisheye lens during transitions. I can't get it expressed enough how much that annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, I get you.
I don't understand that artistic choice.
And this is like the third or fourth unannounced Matt Damon cameo I've seen in recent years. Like, why does everyone think that people are going to flip the fuck out when they see Matt Damon? He's cool. He's a good actor, but I'm not losing my shit in Interstellar or Deadpool 2 or Thor Ragnarok or Jay and Silent Bob reboot or fucking No Sudden Move.
Well, okay. That kind of leaves my shit in like Thor Ragnarok and Deadpool 2, just because I did not think he'd do that type of movie. But
I was more just like, oh, it's Matt Damon. I wasn't like, oh my fucking God, I didn't know he was in this. Like, no one has ever had that reaction to it's weird. I don't know why they keep keeping him in the dark.
Maybe it's a choice on his end.
Maybe that's got to be it. He's like, the audience is going to be so stoked to see me. Don't put me in the credits. Just wait.
No, and it'd be one thing if he played like a really outlandish character, because then it'd be like, like when he popped up unannounced in a Euro Trip to do Scotty doesn't know. Like when he did that, that was great. That's a great use of like not telling us he's in this, and then he plays this outlandish character.
Yeah.
But they don't tell us he's in it, and then he plays a regular dude.
Yeah.
That has a really weird scene with John Hamm. I did not understand that scene either.
Oh, where he's like, I'd give you some, but the company, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like, take a bottle.
Yeah, and he makes a weird face at him, and I'm like,
I don't know, man. I don't know what John Hamm's whole role in this was. Like, just go with it. Make him a full cop. Make him like the guy who uncovers all of this and everyone goes down or no one goes down or something. But there was I never understood exactly how high the stakes were or who was even behind the scenes of this whole thing. Like who was doing this and why? And then at the end, he tried to like throw some, real life auto facts about it. Like this was a fucking biopic.
Yeah,
And
which I was like, okay, this is just, why would you do this? This is dumb. This makes no sense for your movie.
yeah, this was weird. And it's getting pretty decent. It's got like an 86 or something on Rotten Tomatoes. And I disagree with that big time.
This is literally like, this is not Soderbergh's fault. He just is making a movie. No, wait.
A little bit
no,
his fault.
no, I'm not talking about the movie. Hold on. Just wait. Not talking about the movie.
Okay.
I'm talking about the reviews. I feel like Hollywood does this all the fucking time, especially critics that don't want to besmirch their fucking precious name.
Oh, yeah.
They will praise a movie that this director who's been doing it for a while has a lot of praise already does, regardless of the actual quality. Because sometimes I'm sitting there going, did we watch the same fucking movie? Like, then this is a case that to me it was like the critics are only saying it because of the name attached. And I'm sorry. I still need to watch Logan Loki. I feel like that will probably be the movie that finally convinced like I would like from Soderbergh. I've heard a lot of great things about it.
Yeah.
But as someone who hasn't been like the biggest fan, I don't hate the guy. Glad he has a career. I wasn't into this. I was thinking this might be the one because it looks really good. The trailer was like, this might be the movie that convinces me, might get me on board. Nope.
See, that idea you had, like you talked about critics just, kind of sucking these directors off because they refuse to besmirch a notable name. That's the whole fucking reason we started Filmgazm, is we got tired of that. We got tired of just, every director getting a pass just because of who they are. Like, the movies matter, the work matters. And we wanted to spotlight that. And here we are.
Yeah.
Telling everyone Soderbergh made a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets really fun when we say those, but then we do I do a hot take, like my hot takes on Tarantino's more recent films, because I know people are like, oh my God, really? I'm like, I'm sorry. Like,
well, I mean, in that case,
I felt.
In that case, you are wrong. But
you can't be wrong.
You can, because you have one. I don't, I love Tarantino's work because the work is fucking gold. Like, there's not, as a human being, he's kind of a douche, but the films are so fucking good, and that's what I care about. So, like Soderbergh, I enjoyed Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 and 13 were okay. I enjoyed Logan Lucky. I don't have loyalty to Soderbergh as a person. I don't have a loyalty to anybody as a person. Well, I mean, filmmakers wise, like I have, people I care about. But when it comes to movie makers, the movie matters more than the person's name. Every time.
Yeah. And that's what I'm not like, I know I'm on an island that's very few inhabited with Tarantino's latest. I'm not saying it wasn't a well-made film. He clearly made that with love. It just was something I didn't fully enjoy.
That is a shame.
God bless, I don't put it above a 7. Jesus.
That movie, I think you gave it an 8, actually.
I don't think I did. I think I gave it a 7.
Let me go ahead and confirm that shit real quick.
Pretty sure I gave it a 7.
Let's go to Austin's Hall of Tens. It's in there. Yep. 8, July 29th, 2019.
Well, that needs to change to 7.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm considering bumping up to a 10. I really enjoy Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That movie makes me laugh. I love seeing Rick Dalton fuck up some crazy hippies. It's a good, enjoyable comedy. And did you just not think it was going to be a comedy?
No, I know with Tarantino, he's going to do comedies. I know with Tarantino, he makes things that shouldn't be funny. I'm prepared to laugh in a Tarantino movie.
So what happened? Like, I'm honestly curious. Like, what happened?
Did not enjoy this one.
But why?
I was bored most of it.
That's a shame. He's writing a book like based on like the novelization that has like a lot more story to it. I'm buying that immediately.
Not buying it.
Like, this was that's unfortunate because we all kind of love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I wish you had seen the light. That's a shame. Well,
I wish you would like slashers more. So
yeah, see, we all don't get what we want, do we?
I will budge when you budge.
No, because I'm not gonna budge just so you feel better.
Well,
That's
then
not
I'm
how
not budging.
preference works, buddy.
I'm not budging either.
Fine, fine.
That said, I think we can agree on this movie. I just gave it a lower score.
Yeah, I give it a 7 because I did really enjoy the performances. I'm glad I got to see Benicio del Toro in a more meaty role. I feel like he's been doing a lot of supporting characters in the past few years, so it was nice to see him actually like kind of carry the movie.
Mm.
So yeah, him and Don Cheadle I thought worked really well together, and I thought Brendan Fraser was an underused but really good bad guy.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think the performances are what kept this movie going for me.
Yeah.
Besides that, I can't really think of anything else that kept me going. So for me, it's a 5. Yeah, I straight up 5 because everything else minus those performances just was terrible to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I get it. I'm not going back to that one. If you want to watch it, it is an HBO Max exclusive, so that's where you can see it. The Tomorrow War. This to me was the biggest surprise of the bunch. I thought this was going to suck something awful, but I enjoyed this. Very interesting idea. Chris Pratt plays a ex-soldier who is drafted into a war that takes place 50 years in the future because mankind is being fucked up by these weird friggin' aliens, and they go back in time for reinforcements, and a bunch of civilians are barely fucking trained and sent to fight aliens in the future. I was on board. I like the second half better when they went to the Arctic. I thought that was like really smart and really cool. I have a lot of issues with the future government and how badly they fucked up everything. I mean, well, anyway, we'll get to it. What did you think of the Tomorrow War?
All right, sounds about going right there. No, I like you. This was probably my least excited one. I was like wanting to watch. I was like, the trailer made me think like it's going to be another fucking generic sci-fi actioneer. Chris Pratt's going to do the same old that I'm seeing 1,000 times since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So I booed it. I had nothing better to do. I had like, because of some events that happened in where I live, I had a lot of free time on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and finally watch the Tomorrow War. I'm almost there. I'm almost done with these movies. Booted it up, and yeah, it drew me in. Chris Pratt, I want to say he went completely outside of his warehouse, but he did try to not always do his shtick, which I appreciated. There was a scene in particular that actually did sell me, and it was when he came back and saw his daughter again, like as a kid. And that I was like, okay, Chris Pratt can actually act outside of his fucking comfort zone box. That scene from what he was doing and the music and everything, sold me. I really got sold that this is so weird for him after what he just had to witness. So I was like, he got me on board. I thought like there was a lot of cool. The story itself was it was enough to be entertaining. Kind of like to me, like for me, like I said with Till Death, it was just simple enough for like a pretty like the concept I was going for was simple enough to keep you entertained. I do wish that the future stuff was a little bit longer because I thought the action scenes were really awesome. I was actually really impressed with the action scenes, like when they're having to get through the hospital and the aliens are coming after them, they're getting in the street. Really intense scene when they're having to go get the queen was really cool, and the fucking oil rig offshore fucking thing getting attacked was cool. I just wanted a little bit more because I was so impressed with that stuff. I did like the Arctic part. I thought that was a cool way to end it, especially when you found like, and then like, yeah, the whole scene with that kid in the volcano. I've been waiting my whole life for this. That was great.
Yeah.
And I also do wish there had been more J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because he looked like he went all out for this. When he had like a beard, looked like he was real jacked for it. I was like, it looked like he was ready.
I remember a while back, like J.K. Simmons was seen like jacking up with a beard. And then I never saw the movie that was for. And then I'm thinking, like, was it for this? Did he prepare that early for the Tomorrow War? Have they been trying to make this movie for like 6 years? Maybe. It's Hollywood. Who fucking knows? But he was my favorite part. J.K. Simmons, as Sam Richardson calls him, Conspiracy Santa. That was great. I liked the whole overarching theme of second chances. I liked his relationship with Yvonne Strahovski. I thought their chemistry was really good. I doubted her because of she played a really despicable, kind of poorly written character in the last couple seasons of Dexter. And so I always associated her with that. But this kind of pushed that away, which was nice. And again, Chris Pratt, there is an actor in there. He's just hidden under a schlubby, goofy clown.
Yeah, I'm not saying he like shed it completely. He said that whole scene with Sam Richardson, who I forgot is a fucking MVP, because I'm sure that movie, if it's coming up next, that we got to talk about.
Dude had a great weekend.
He's fucking great in this. But when he's trying to load his gun, and Chris Pratt makes a joke like, I guess it's not a long story. Like, I'm not saying he shed it completely, but he did not go all in on it for once. And there were scenes of him actually acting, like between him and J.K. Simmons. And like I said, that scene when he comes back and to see his daughter again after the end of his week of fighting, like he showed that it's in him. He just has to be. I feel like he has to be willing, or to either step outside or try to stop getting typecast to play the same type of role.
Yeah, but that shtick got him Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World, so it's paying the bills.
I know. I guess for me, like, I like actors that you see a lot of things from them.
Yeah.
And it was nice finally getting something different that he was, to me, so good at, which is funny because the review I read for this trashed this. I mean, they gave it like a 3 out of 10. It was getting trashed. They complained about him.
Yeah.
And again, I watched it and I went, did we watch the same movie? Because this wasn't that bad. Like, I have seen far worse fucking sci-fi action films.
I know. That's why I was like, I don't want to watch this. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And it looked so generic. It looked so pointless. But something about this movie really draws you in. I think it's because it's the characters. Like, everything around the characters feels like it's kind of been done, but the characters themselves are so well written. And they bring you in. And the aliens are actually pretty damn scary.
I would say the characters and to me, the action scenes were very well shot.
Yeah. Dude, the scene where they actually go into the future and they fucking fall out of the portal like 600 feet in the fucking air.
Yeah, and you're seeing people hit buildings and dying. I'm like, this is why people don't come back, because half of them die when they go initially.
And that is a perfect segue into my fucking biggest issue with this movie, and that's the government. Of like the future and the current government. Just all right. So you have a war happening in the future against aliens. Most of the human population has been wiped out. And your plan is to go back in time and get anybody who's died already in the future to be a soldier. But you are not going to train them how to be soldiers. You're just going to give them a gun and some tactical gear and say, giddy up. Something.
America.
Give them, but it's not just America. It's the fucking planet. It's everybody. And then the time machine literally transports them into the fucking sky.
Yeah, and I don't know why it did to them, because at the beginning of the movie, it's established that they just walk out. When they first send in the message, they just walk out like, we have an issue that you must solve. But no, now what? In like the 3 or whatever time it was later,
no,
we can't walk through it anymore, guys. We're just going to fucking drop your ass, and you just better hope you hit like soft ground or you're dead.
Well, and also, like, they don't say anything about what's going on. Like, they just expect you to fight blindly. Like when Chris Pratt's like, he gets drafted and he's trying to ask questions. They're all just like, put your hand in this thing. Don't run. Like, I'm kind of on the side of the protesters in this movie. Like, why is anybody fighting this war? Like, fuck it.
Without getting too like, and I'm going to watch what I say because it's my job.
It's a fake war. You can say whatever you want.
Well, and I gotta be careful what I say about my actual job.
Yeah.
But as someone who is in the military, like, a lot of this didn't surprise me. Just saying, like, not a lot of direction is always given.
Yeah, but if people are going to step out of a portal at the World Cup and say the future's in peril and y'all need to fight, and there's going to be a global fucking draft, I would like a drop of information.
I'm getting what you're saying. I'm just saying it didn't. It didn't bother me too much because I went, of course, like that makes sense. That's exactly what they do. They wouldn't tell you fucking shit. They'd be like, just do this. Come on, we gotta go. Get on out there. Get out there.
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. But then, like, I honestly can't get over just teleporting them into the fucking sky. Like, that was ridiculous.
Oh, that's completely stupid. And that was like, why? I'm like, you guys are bitching that half your people you send there die. It's not because of the aliens.
Honestly, the aliens that they fought, that looked fairly manageable. Like,
I don't know how the Earth got overwhelmed.
Yeah, I feel like those things couldn't take over Texas. I mean, you just aim for the throat and that's it.
They can't. Well, aliens can't take over Texas, but there is a movie. Our main movie shows how Texas can fall. Apparently.
Oh fuck, yeah, that's gonna be wild.
Yeah,
got a little too real. That movie. Tomorrow War. I like the second half where the time machine is broken for some reason, and they figure out that the aliens actually landed here like thousands of years ago.
Yeah, they were just underground.
And I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea that the two pilots of the ship were like they crashed here, and these things are like a weapon of mass destruction. Like that was cool, and also totally stolen from Prometheus, but really neat nonetheless.
Stolen, but done better because I understood it.
Also, kind of stolen from the Thing too. I'm really kind of. I think originality's dead. I just think we just got to take what we can get.
It's been dead. Yeah, like I said, like the second half, I like the idea and like the whole idea that you reconnects with his dad to bring him out there, and they go and like let's go take care of this ourselves because obviously the government's like, no, fuck you, we're not doing it.
And then that dickhead took credit on the news because politics.
Yeah. Like I said, I by all means keep that whole like Arctic part intact. Just because I was really in on like the action sequences, just extend the future stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I was like really glued on those action sequences. I was like, these are fucking well done, like well shot fucking action sequences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was impressed. I gave it an 8. I was expecting to fully hate this movie, but here we are. It is a nice surprise.
Yeah, I gave it a 7, and that was just because of like what I said. I wanted a little bit more with the future, more J.K. Simmons. But besides that, I was really impressed. I would be more than happy to show someone this movie or watch it again.
Yeah,
I was impressed. It was my least anticipated. I walked out the most happy.
I think a little J.K. Simmons goes a long way. And I'd love a sequel, honestly. I'd like to see where this goes next. I'd like to, maybe Earth was the target and those aliens launch another, rocket or some shit. I don't know. Maybe they take over the present. I don't know. Maybe they do, Terminator, there's no fate but what you make kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd like to see more of this world.
Every now.
Speaking of world, I'd like to see more of Werewolves Within. The first ever critically successful video game movie.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? Oh my God. I love that. Just Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed, Mortal Kombat, Tomb Raider. Fuck all y'all. This obscure werewolf movie did it.
Based off an obscure video game. From a second-time director.
85%. And this movie was so entertaining.
Oh yeah, I felt like I personally really like Scare Me. I know you gave it a 7. I didn't review it at the time, but I would give it an 8. I gave this one a 9. I really fell in love with this movie. As you were in Blanco for a good chunk of your life as well.
Uh-huh.
I grew up there as well. So like seeing like these caricatures, stereotypes of small town people put a big smile on my face, and like I recognize so many of these types of people.
Yeah. Well, I remember I lived in Blanco for a while, but I was, born and raised in the smallest of small towns, Cascade, Maryland. So I've always been in small towns.
Oh,
So I've seen
okay.
these people my whole life.
Okay, my bad. So yeah, seeing these stereotypes played up to such a hilarious degree put a smile on my face. The cast was so committed and so game to what they were doing. There was to me and this is very key when you're doing like a horror comedy, right?
Yeah.
The perfect balance of horror and comedy in this movie.
Yeah.
And above all, the one thing I really, really liked was the werewolf aspect. You don't see the werewolf. The movie even makes you think maybe there's not a werewolf. Maybe people just lost their fucking minds. So I really enjoyed that. And I did personally, I don't know about you. I was generally surprised when they revealed who it was. I did not see that one coming.
Straight up, I thought they were going to go with the everyone was nuts angle and they were all just going to kill each other. But I like that in the end, there fucking was a werewolf. And I really liked that character. And then to find out like her entire personality was complete bullshit was so weird, but also made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then again, when we mentioned Sam Richardson in Tomorrow War, I say he's the MVP because he was a standout in that for the few scenes he was in, and he shines in this fucking movie. He had me dying laughing so many times.
The whole like angry speech he gives about how he's nice and he doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks about it.
But he's still not cussing.
That was great. I loved Wayne Duvall was hilarious.
Yeah, when he's trying to console that one lady and she's too far away from where he's sitting. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. You're a little far. Let me just.
That's a reach. It just gives up. My God, the scene where they're when they're trying to leave the mountain man's cabin and they're freaking out and he like reaches towards them and then just unlocks the door. My God. This was good. This was so good. I was really happy this was good. I wanted to like this and I'm glad I can.
Yeah, I really I've been saying it since Sonic. It has really felt like we have finally been kind of seeing the code's been cracked. And I feel like this was, if Sonic to me kind of started cracking the code, this fully cracked it. This finally figured out how do you make a fucking video game movie. Just make a goddamn movie and honor the video game. From what I know, it's actually kind of faithful to the game. Like this whole game is trying to figure out who is werewolf.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the plot of this movie.
Yeah. And then I thought Milana Weintraub, however you say her name, I'm not sure. For being known as pretty much like the AT&T girl, she was great. I was really impressed with her. The whole movie, like she was my favorite part. She was hilarious.
She was hilarious. Diane Jackson, the skinnier of the gay couple.
Yeah.
He was in American Horror Story for a couple of seasons. He was great in this. His boyfriend is on What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. I was like, I recognize this guy. And I looked, I was like, holy shit, it's the familiar and What We Do in the Shadows. He's fucking hilarious. Like they were cracking me up. Like this was such a fucking phenomenal, funny, appropriate, scary at times movie. I was really happy with this movie.
I loved at the beginning when we're introduced to all the characters and Cecily keeps giving Sam Richardson like gossipy secrets about them. Like just this town's a fucking mess. Like just crazy shit. The methed out couple who like didn't quite know what was going on.
I like when God, what was that line? My brother was something, and they just all stared at her. And okay,
I remember. Yeah.
I always laugh at those kind of jokes. It's like when we were watching Victor Crowley, the guy's like, "And what? What? Use your words."
Jesus. Yeah, I
love the joke of like someone does not finish what they say, and everyone's just like, just fucking finish. It's really funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, I really enjoyed Werewolves Within. As soon as it comes out, I'm gonna buy that one. I want that one in my collection. This is something I'm gonna watch a lot. I know I'm going to notice a little shit in the background too. It's one of those movies where there's jokes around every corner and you just don't notice them yet.
Yeah, yeah. I also did laugh at that scene when they're like leaving the crazy lady's house. I know they're getting ready to leave, and the truck runs over the dude, and then she shoots, and Sam Richardson and the AT&T chick are just like standing there, just all right, let's go back inside.
My God, I love the whole pipeline thing, and that guy turning out to be a fucking werewolf hunter. Just like what? Okay, sure. Yeah, it was a clever, funny movie, and at times pretty scary. There's some good horror scenes in that.
Yeah, both like this movie and Scare Me. Josh Brolin really has a knack for sound design. Like I noticed, I was like, this guy really kills sound design in his movies. Because like I said, you don't see the werewolf till like literally the end of the movie, but you hear it. Like it's those scenes of you hearing it and what's going on. And yeah, dude, that guy, he knows how to do like his sound design in his movies is fucking stellar.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure. I hope he has a like I want to see him get some like a big budget thing because he's definitely making some waves, and I hope he gets like a successful movie going, something that's going to get him noticed by the big wigs who can who can give us like I'd like to see him helm a familiar franchise. Offhand, I can't really think of anything, but some kind of horror comedy blend, maybe a new Tremors movie or something.
Oh, he'd probably be able to ace the Tremors movie.
Yeah, I think he's got something. He's a talented writer director.
He could actually probably make a good Leprechaun movie for once.
There we go. That's a good one. Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see him do a Leprechaun movie. Awesome. Yeah, Werewolves Within was fun and would have been our pick of the week had it not been for the biggin, the Forever Purge. Werewolves Within 8 for me, by the way.
Yeah, and like I said, I gave this one 9 personally. I really fell in love with this movie.
Understandable. The Forever Purge is the 5th film in the Purge franchise, which I marathoned earlier last week to prep for this episode because I had not seen any of the other films and I wanted context. So real quick, before we get into the 5th one, I'm going to give my brief thoughts on the first 4. The Purge, the worst one. the first movie is the worst one. It's it's too narrowed down. You don't see anything. You just hear about this epic night of lawlessness, but all you get is really your basic home invasion movie.
Well, I think I even told you that when you showed me that you told me you were watching. I was like, first one's the worst. Like, cause it's like I said the same thing. I remember how excited I was when I heard about the concept for this movie. I was like, that's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And this was well before when this movie came out. This was before like the Trump administration and stuff like that. So at the time, it was a cool concept. Getting a little scary now, but
yeah, super dedicated Republicans who don't give a shit about law and order coming to power, and suddenly America's a dystopian wasteland. Crazy, right?
Yeah. When it came out, I was like, oh, cool concept for a horror movie, definitely. And then I watched it. I was real excited. And then I watched it and I was like, it just takes place in this mansion. Yeah, I was turned on. I was like, I even tried watching it again. I watched it again like recently. It wasn't even to watch it for the 5th movie. I just happened to rewatch the fucking Purge movies one day. And I was watching it and I was like, still the worst one. I was like, dear God, why do they take place inside the fucking house the whole time? Especially with the cast. It had a good cast.
Yeah, big names. I do like that each movie focuses on a different aspect of society. Like the first movie is the rich, the second movie is the poor, the third movie is the politicians, the fourth movie is the gangs, and the 5th movie is immigrants. Like I do like how they did that. The second movie, The Purge Anarchy, my personal favorite. Frank Grillo is a fucking boss. That guy is one of my favorite actors working today. He brings this epic badassery to every film he does that I've seen. And I loved him as this, random sergeant who decides to, have a crisis of conscience and save some lives on Purge night. Like I loved Anarchy. We finally we went to a city. We got to see the grand scale of this thing. The whole bit where they go to the lady's apartment and her fucking sister goes ape shit and kills her. that came out of nowhere. Like, we're finally safe, and then she goes ape. That was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed Anarchy.
Yeah, same. That's when they finally went. I guess they had the budget. They're like, all right, let's actually show what the Purge is, and that's why I ended up liking it a lot. And I actually didn't see it when it first came out because I just was like, no, I'm not falling for this again. Like, fuck you for what you did to me the first time. And it was actually when Election Year was coming out. Someone was like, oh, dude, Election Year. I was like, I didn't see the second one. I didn't like, he's like, dude, you gotta watch it. So he had a copy of the movie somehow. I forget how. And I watched it with a buddy of mine in time to go see Election Year. And we were going, all right, yeah, I like this one. It gave me what I wanted this time. And Frank Grillo is awesome in it. And I feel like I know, like, because I might as well bring it up now because I know I'm going to get into it when we talk about the new one and really the fourth one. I know the political themes were already there. I do feel like with the first three films, they were broad enough that I could enjoy the movies. Like, they were just broad enough that and they let the movie still be a fun, entertaining, almost exploitation type film that I could enjoy it enough. So yeah, I really like this one a lot. I like it. Anarchy's a fucking awesome one.
Yeah. I do want to point out all 5 of these films, negative tomato scores, because critics don't know how to have fun. The third film, The Purge Election Year, also very good. We bring back Frank Grillo. He's now working security for a presidential candidate who plans to eradicate the Purge if she's elected. So obviously the new founding fathers of America are like, fuck her, and try to have her killed in the Purge. And that one's also really good. That's a close second for me. Very fun. Elizabeth Mitchell is an actress I've always liked. And yeah, just cool seeing, like, you know, the little guy kind of try to stop the Purge. Yeah. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like this one a lot too. Again, the political things are so broad enough, still just broad enough. It's again, I'm with you. It's a close second. It's right behind Anarchy. Frank Grillo was awesome having him come back. I like how the new founding fathers are being portrayed by actors, and you're getting a face to them. Yeah. And they really do. You really feel the evil of them because of it. So when you actually are seeing them and seeing the people behind it. So that was a nice touch to actually include people that are the new founding fathers.
Well, and the film toys with the idea that, you know, both sides have psychos. You could go extreme on either side, which I like. We need to be reminded of that sometimes, that there is a right and a wrong way to handle these situations. I wish we'd gotten to see those fuckers decimated, the new founding fathers. I really wanted to see that in any of these movies, and we never fucking got it.
Yeah, well, and we'll get more to in the FOREVER Purge. There's certain things with, like, the ending and kind of what they undo to an extent with this one. That really did not sit well with me for the entirety of the movie, but I'll get into that reason why when we talk about FOREVER Purge.
Yeah, me too. I know what you're talking about. The first Purge, which I had low expectations for because of how much you didn't enjoy it, but I liked it a lot. The idea of, you know, we got to test out this new thing, Staten Island. Sure, I was kind of hoping for an Impractical Jokers cameo, but that never happened. Just cue purging somebody. I would love that. Or better yet, it would be them purging each other.
Oh God, Joe would just stay home.
I feel like Sal would go the craziest.
Sal would go after Murr and so quick, and then Joe and Q would just stay at their respective houses.
Anyway, clearly huge fans here. The idea of, you know, blocking off the island and telling people, like, hey, this is where the Purge is happening, 24 or 12 hours, no law, so do what you want. And at first people are kind of like, are they serious about this? Like, we just do whatever we want? And the military's like, fuck it, they're not purging enough, so they send in soldiers to start massacring people. Which is exactly how that would go down when we do get an actual purge.
We won't get an actual purge. I doubt that's ever going to happen.
Give it 20 years. that in our lifetime, we're going to see this happen. I think
We're not going to see a purge happen.
I think we will.
That I don't believe that. I think that's going to stay in movie land.
I don't trust this country as much as you do, clearly.
Oh, you don't? I'm like, I know we do some stupid stuff, but I doubt purging is ever going to happen. It's not that like, so like, I know like I have, this is to me when the series like this and with the one we'll be talking about mostly started becoming more, this is how I say it. The first movie is a 6, so it's really hard for me to go back to that one. This one, a 7. There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. I do like the idea that no one's actually purging, because if they were to do this, I think that's what would happen. No one would actually do shit because they'd be like, this isn't real. You know what I mean? Like no one would really do shit. So they do if people just having wilder parties than usual and fucking wherever they want because no one's going to do anything. I can fucking believe that happening. And then them having that was a really cool concept of like, okay, we gotta send people in because they're not doing it, and we want this to be a thing. It's not a matter of if it's successful, it will be successful. We will get this. That concept was cool for me. It was at this point, whereas I thought they were playing relatively broad with the political themes. This is when they started to kind of stop broadening it and really start to like narrow it and almost like be on the nose with it. With this particular installment was when it started, and also it was really hard for me to get behind the main character. Had they kind of shown more of him not wanting to be in that life, because for those you haven't seen, he's a gang leader.
Yeah.
Had they maybe shown he didn't want to be a part of that life, he's a victim of today's society, I could be behind him more, but they didn't really do that. They made it seem like he really enjoyed being a gang leader, so it was hard for me to be like, oh, okay, I should root for this guy, and then he'd be the hero of the fucking block. And it could just be me, right? It could just be me being a white male. I may not get something that's in that movie. Fully ready to admit that. But it was just for me, from like who I am watching, those were the things that was hard for me to get into.
Well, I'm a white-ish male, and I got behind it because it was really kind of a lesser of two evil situation. It was like this dude is the guy we're going to root for because the fucking government is way, way worse. And there's also this psycho Skeletor dude wandering the block. So you need, you got to relate to somebody. And if this is the best we can do, kind of a Robin Hood, Pablo Escobar motherfucker, then, you could do worse.
Yeah.
I like the actor. I thought he did a good job. I like the character.
I'm not saying that. Like I said, if they had just done something to show like he wasn't fully behind the life he lived, it's just literally got him in a good place.
No.
I would have been, that would not even have been a problem. Like, well, he doesn't even like what he's doing. It's just a victim of the system. But he clearly really enjoyed being a gang leader and hurting people.
I like the idea of the colored lenses that the people who were like signed up with the government to purge for money were like wearing. It was really creepy.
Yeah.
I liked that. Overall, I thought it was good. It's not the best one, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's one I would go back to, but not like I would the second and third. Like as of right now, I'll say like the second and third I'd probably go back to the most.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. And that takes us to the Forever Purge. Or like, did you ever see the show?
I did actually, yeah.
How was the show?
The show's okay. I thought the second season, I remember actually, so the first season I wasn't too far with it because it was literally just watching a very extended fucking movie. They just kept cutting between the 4 different storylines. So I wasn't into the first season all that much, but then like I thought, okay, I'll watch second season. So second season takes place after. Like that was a big selling point, was like this season, what happens after the purge? And I was like, no, that I'm interested in. Because I've always thought that like, why don't we get something like that shows what life happens after? Because there's repercussions for what you're doing. You don't want to admit it, but there's repercussions for the shit going down here between people.
Yeah.
And that the second season exposed that, and I really liked it actually. I was actually really down for it. But then they pulled the plug after that season. They said no more. So first season, okay. Second season, I really enjoyed.
I heard Ethan Hawke had a cameo. Was that true?
Wait. I think he had in the first season. I do not recall in the second.
Neat. Well, yeah, there was a show. The Forever Purge was set to come out July 2020, but got postponed because of COVID. I thought that was weird because it does feel like the film draws direct inspiration from the insurrection that happened on January 6th. It does feel like a natural evolution of the Proud Boys kind of situation. But
yeah,
this was supposed to come out last year, which is odd. It's like the film, like all the other Purge films, just saw something fairly dark in this country that was bubbling. And the film just called it before the actual history did.
yeah. I know it's weird how that happened. And I mean, this is going to be my complaint again for this movie. Is I thought again the politics again a little too on the nose, a little too, straight and narrow. Granted, I do understand in this case, a good chunk of that is because of the delay and shit that should not have happened in real life that mimics the movie fucking happened.
Yeah.
So I do on that degree understand. I still think they've stopped broadening it and they've been very like restrictive, I should say, on their politics. It's just like me personally, it's like I don't like too much.
But all 5 of these films are political. The whole point of the Purge is political. This has always been a political franchise. So I don't really see the problem.
But for me, I think with the first 3, and I don't know if it's the times or what, the first 3 they did a nice balance. They were just like broad enough of like rich versus poor. Like we've seen that 1,000 fucking times that I could go with it. And then by the 4th one, they were like very much saying, okay, this is what's going on. Let's directly inject into the movie. And then that's when I kind of like went still it's entertaining, but just not as entertaining. It was a little bit more direct than I wanted personally.
I mean, films do, reflect the time, especially political films like this. So I get that would happen. And it just, for me, it made sense that they would go in that direction.
Yeah, I'm not saying like, look, the movie can do what it wants. I'm saying like for me personally, not always entertaining for me. Am I glad movies like this exist so that people get talking? Yeah, absolutely. It gets people talking, gets people to kind of really look at what's going on in the world and maybe do something about it. So I'm absolutely happy movies like this are coming out. They deserve a place. It is, I would say this one's, I actually comment on my review, like this to me was the scariest one because of its plot and what's going on nowadays. Like it's almost like to me of all of them, I would say this is probably the actual like most terrifying one they've come out with.
Well, I mentioned in my review that like if the insurrection hadn't been led by a bunch of dumb shits and actually had happened, this is what it would have looked like. Like, a national fucking, purge of just people who are tired of being told they can't fuck up minorities. It's creepy and scary. And I agree that this was, a little terrifying. It's also the only one I saw in theaters, which helped. So the film is directed by Everardo Gout. He's done a lot of TV, including episodes of Banshee, The Terror, Luke Cage, and Snowpiercer. Like the previous 4, James DeMonico wrote this one too. And the show. Guy really likes being in this world.
It's been making him money.
Yeah. I highly doubt this is the last Purge. They're saying it's the final film. Not a chance.
I don't know if you've read the review I emailed you already for it. I pretty much said like final until they want to reboot or find a new fresh revitalize to it.
Return of the Purge or some shit.
Yeah, like it's final for now. I doubt we'll be getting one anytime soon.
No.
But it'll come back.
Second, James DeMonico's wallet gets a little light. We're getting a 6th Purge.
Yeah.
Josh Lucas stars as Dylan Tucker, son of a rich cattle rancher in Texas. Lucas has also appeared in such films as Session 9, Sweet Home Alabama, Glory Road, Hulk, Poseidon, and 4v Ferrari. So he's had a pretty decent career, I would say.
He's currently doing, he has a recurring role in Yellowstone. He plays the young version of Kevin Costner's character.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, when they do flashbacks.
Cool. He's, I thought he was going to be the bad guy. the trailer made me think he was the cowboy evil purger guy. I don't know why, but
yeah, I would have been cool. I think he would have done a fine job in that role, actually.
well, what I thought like the movie was going the direction, I thought like on this purge, they were going to break in, they were going to kill his wife, his family, and then he was going to snap. And then that's what I thought was going to happen. But he ended up being one of the heroes. So,
yeah. Okay. I really like them in this. I I like the storyline, especially like the part when he's having that talk with Juan and he makes kind of goes, I don't think I'm better or, oh, blah, blah, blah than you at all. He goes, I don't hate your kind because I just don't think our kind should mix. Like it really like that one scene, like I'm not saying it made him better, but it really kind of gave you insight to who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a racist, but stick with your own. That's okay.
It was like, okay, but to see him kind of go from that to no, I need these people. If I want to survive, I need these people.
I do kind of wish that our hero had. It's weird to have one of your heroes be a straight up racist who won't admit it. I didn't like that, and I don't think he got a proper redemption. I mean, just him speaking Spanish at the end is not enough.
Well, it's because he's speaking Spanish that we all get taught in like high school.
Yeah. What did he say?
I knew exactly. Yeah. I don't need. I was like, even watching in theater, I was like, yeah, you don't need subtitles because I know exactly what you're saying. I know these words.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt kind of tone deaf. But whatever. That's my mixed race blood talking. Ana de la Reguera plays Adela, an illegal migrant who, along with her husband, helps the Tucker family escape the purge. She has appeared in such films as Army of the Dead, Nacho Libre, The Book of Life, and Cowboys and Aliens. Army of the Dead. I knew it wouldn't be too long till that motherfucker popped back into this show.
He's back. Oh God. Oh fuck. Yeah, I actually did not even know she was in those movies. I honestly look. I was watching her. I was like, I like this actress. She's attractive, badass. I like what's being presented here with this character. So, admittedly, when I got home, I started, on the Instagram and looking her up, and I was like, holy shit, she was in Army of the Dead. And I was like, and then I was like, wait, was she the one that got the unceremonious fucking twisting of the head when she professed her love to fucking Batista? But yeah, no, she's good. I like her in this. I really like her character in this a lot. They make it seem at first she's just gonna be in her like damsel in distress, and she's one of the most badass people in this movie.
Oh yeah. If anybody's a damsel in distress, it's the fucking rich white folks. For a time.
Pregnant one.
Well, she's pregnant. She has an excuse.
Yeah. I was like, that one actually turned into a badass. So
I liked her a lot, the sister. Tenoch Huerta plays Juan, Adela's husband and the Tucker family's savior. He appeared in 11 episodes of Narcos Mexico, as well as the films Spectre, The 33, and Get the Gringo. Mostly bit parts, but he was great in this. I liked that our hero is an illegal immigrant. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and one that doesn't have a strong grasp of the English language either.
Mm-mm. And who isn't afraid to say to the white guy, like, you don't like me, huh? I like that exchange. He's brought it up, like, you really don't like me. And he's like, nah. And he's like, don't, what is it? Slice through the shit, he said.
Yeah.
Like,
that's slice through the shit. No, yeah, I like him. I think I like his wife a little bit more. Yeah. But he was cool too. I liked him a lot. And I do like how this movie made our main characters illegal immigrants. Because I know that's been such a hot fucking topic in recent years. And how they present them is that like it's not like they didn't want to be legal in this country or anything. They were escaping a bad situation.
Yeah, which is most of the time what is happening. That's like nobody wants to come here and be a criminal. They have no choice.
Yeah, they were getting out of a bad situation, and they were doing better for themselves. It's not like they were collecting, welfare or anything like that. They were, she was working at a restaurant. Looked like she had a very good position there.
Yeah,
and he had seemed to be minus, the beef between him and Josh Lucas's character, a well-liked ranch hand on that ranch. So they were doing well for themselves.
And his whole beef was just like he can like settle a horse down better than Josh Lucas can. So Lucas just starts this whole horse shit. God. Cassidy Freeman plays Cassidy Tucker, Dylan's pregnant wife. Freeman is known mostly for playing Clark Kent's enemy turned fierce ally, Tess Mercer, in the last few seasons of Smallville. She's since had prominent roles in TV shows like The Righteous Gemstones and Longmire, but she will always be Tess Mercer to me because I watched all 10 seasons of Smallville twice. And I don't plan on doing it again. But she was an interesting character. She's introduced as like Lex Luthor's like secret sister. And then she finds out and she's like, I don't want to be a Luthor. I'm going to join the Justice League. And she becomes like Watchtower or some shit. But it was a weird show towards the end. We weren't even in Smallville from like season 7 on. We were in Metropolis, but they still called it fucking Smallville. Anyway, a lot of issues with that show.
I did not watch it. I'm watching the currently running Superman and Lois, and I'll just stick with that.
Yep, give it time. They'll fuck that up too. They always do.
I like a lot of their shows.
Is there any superhero show that had a decent run the whole time?
The Boys. It's still going.
Touche. All right. I'll give you The Boys. I have no doubt that's going to be just fine. All right. Well done. Well done. Her character is, fairly generic. She's, the pregnant wife.
Yeah, I'll give her credit for not being like annoying. Usually I'll give credit. If you really pay attention to films, like there's been noticeable difference since we've been calling out Hollywood in writing characters, especially like female characters, right, and minority characters. And she doesn't cry and scream and bat and get annoying like they would in past films when they just that's all they did. That's all they fucking did. She holds her own.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing I'll give the cast. There's no character who like feels like a busted leg. Everyone's just kind of pulling their own weight, regardless of where they come from. They realize in this world where all like everything's fallen, the only thing that matters is survival. So get with it.
Yeah,
I like that.
She does have that really good scene with the bikes when she holds up the flag, so they get left alone.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Levin Rambin plays Harper Tucker, Dylan's crazy awesome sister. Rambin has appeared in such films as The Hunger Games, Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters, and The Dirt. And just from the beginning, she's just a badass. I love that. She's like, hey, don't fuck with these guys. They saved our lives. Like, she gets it immediately. And I like that. And I wish her and that other Mexican dude had hooked up because they were.
I was rooting for that. I was like, oh, no.
But nope, he got fucked up by the Proud Boys. Very sad. Also, in that scene where the crazy leader dude calls his like girl mother.
Yeah.
Total dig at former Vice President Mike Pence because he did that shit.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, why is he calling her that?
Yeah, that creepy old guy called his wife mother, and also would not be like refused to be in a room with any other woman alone in case they tried to call him on some shit. Like the fact that you have to prepare for that, you are a handsy motherfucker. Anyway,
okay.
Will Patton plays patriarch Caleb Tucker. Patton has appeared in such films as Armageddon, The Postman, The Mothman Prophecies, Halloween, and Minari. He's had an interesting couple of years. Very cool.
And he is also with Josh Lucas on Yellowstone. He is going to be a series regular on the upcoming season.
Boom. Good for him.
Good for him. His character is pretty despicable in that show, though. So,
well, his character seemed like a hair's breadth away from being despicable here, and I was expecting that. But then he's like, "Hey, all God's creatures are good people," and just
yeah. So take his he's completely good in this movie. Like his character, like he only had one episode last season, his introduction episode, and they announced he's going to be a series regular because of who he plays. I don't want to ruin it in case you watch the show. But yeah, there's like a scene where you're like, oh, this guy's fucking skeevy. Oh, ew. But I'm still waiting on season 4 to come out to find out where that goes. But yeah, now I like him in this. He gets kind of like unceremoniously taken out early, but
I don't know. I like his death scene because he's like, I know I'm not making it out of this alive, so I'm gonna just I'm not letting this guy have the satisfaction.
Yeah, I like his speech because his speech made sense. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm making money off your labor. You're absolutely right. But what do you think the people in charge are making money off of right fucking now? You purging, buddy.
And also, like, he's not being like unfair to these guys. Like, he's a good boss.
Yeah, he's literally a good boss. Like, he's a very fair range. He's all giving them purge pay, and that one guy turns out to be bad. Of course, makes a big stink about it. So there's always that one guy in every fucking group that can't find joy in anything.
Yeah,
and like he's just giving us this so he can keep his hands. Like, well, yeah, no shit. He doesn't want to get new hope, but it's probably also because he cares about enough about you guys to give you that money to go fucking be safe somewhere.
Yeah, it's this whole universe is so fucking weird that everyone's just like steps that one day a year everyone goes batshit crazy, and we're just like okay with that. Insane. I love in the election year where like people would come in from other countries to like purge on vacation because they could kill legally here.
That was a crazy concept that was awesome and then never got explored.
They all got gunned down.
Yeah, they never brought that back up for any of the movies.
Well, the Forever Purge has an IMDb score of 6.0, current Rotten Tomatoes score of 46%. What a shock. So far, it's grossed $19.4 million on its $18 million budget. So it's already made its money back, which is great. Hopefully it keeps going because I wouldn't say no to a sixth Purge.
No, I mean, yeah, it's an entertaining series. I don't want to say no to a sixth one.
Yeah. I wonder where they could go with it. Like the Purge goes global.
I don't know. Oh, I'm kind of worried what they would do. Well, when I talk about a thing I don't like when gross what they do to an ending of a prior film is why I'm worried if they were to do a sixth one.
Well, let's get into it. Let's discuss the Forever Purge.
All right.
Yeah. So we're in this world where somewhere along the line, America didn't like this new administration. So President Elizabeth Mitchell, all of her policies got reversed. The new founding fathers showed up again, and the purge is reinstated. And all that happens in one throwaway line of dialogue during the opening narration.
Yes, and this is one of my beefs and why it was hard for me to really accept this. I thought Election Year had a really good ending. To me, it felt natural from the first one to what we were building towards.
Yeah.
Like that ultimately this would go away finally. And the movies have always done a good job of showing that regular people don't like the purge. Like the majority don't like it. They don't want it. It's just a minority of crazy fuckers.
Yeah.
And yet all of a sudden with this movie, the majority enjoy the purge. They didn't want it to go away. And then it's back. And I just felt like with the overall plot that follows after this whole after the whole title sequence, right?
Yeah.
This idea of like there is so much tension boiling under the surface and it just explodes for people to just want to purge forever.
No.
You could have kept the ending for the third one intact.
Yeah.
And it just be a story where no, the purge is still gone, but secretly it's been a planned thing for people to just fucking go AWOL because they can't live without it. And I think that would have been a stronger film and maybe shed more light on our society as a whole.
I agree with you. And even like the movie agrees with you because election year sets that up. When she gets elected, they say like, but pro purge movements have broken out all across the country. They say that. So the fact that they didn't go with that is weird.
Yeah, it really bugs me. And it's kind of like, when we talked about, F9 and their open retconning, it's like, stop. That's probably like how you get tired of rehashing. I'm starting to get tired of that. Like, stop acting like I'm a fucking idiot when I go watch your movie. If I'm paying to see a fifth, sixth, whatever movie, you should have enough respect that you should know I've seen your other films. That's why I'm paying to see this one. Because I've watched the other ones and I'm wanting to see the new one. So go by the logic that you set up, the continuity that you set up, and follow that. I really did not like that throwaway line at all. It really pissed me off that, especially because the NFFA were not a threat. They were literally just to get thrown back in to a movie that they weren't needed in. This film would have worked so much better had they gone with that pro-purge thing that was mentioned in the third one. And yeah, this group had amassed enough people because we live in a world that I would personally, I would buy the idea of like enough people banding together across the country to have a forever purge. Just fucking do it one day. Because we live in a world of, fucking social. I mean, look what we're doing right now. We're zooming because we're in two different states to do this. It's like, I can believe that happening. That would have made for a stronger movie had, they kept the intact. Purge is still not a thing. And then one day the plan gets enacted and the forever purge begins.
I agree. I think that would have been stronger. However, I do find it highly ironic that you are so dedicated and determined to have continuity intact, and yet you have no issues whatsoever with Friday the 13th.
Because this is the difference. Those movies just fucking go with it. Like for Halloween, just says, look, just go with this. Like we know what we're doing. Just go with it.
They clearly don't know what they're doing is the problem.
It really depends. It depends on the like. I think in the case of like open like retconning, like those films don't even attempt. Like Friday the 13th does not at any point attempt to go back and then try to explain over shit we already know. They're just like, this is the thing now, and I'm like, oh, okay, fuck it.
Jason's a worm, and we just have to accept it now.
Right? If they just do it, and you can with like F9, with what they did with like openly like linking back to prior films, saying forget what you just saw. And then this one having that throwaway line, be like, that ending you thought was so good, fuck it, get rid of it. We have to do a fifth movie. And I think in this one it bugs me more because again, it literally would have worked had you kept the ending intact. Like the movie would have still worked. There was no reason to take away the ending of the third film.
Yeah, it wasn't. I like that we got a Purge film in Texas. That made me feel nice. Get to see what a small town, how that would handle the Purge. And then honestly, like when the Purge ends and we're all kind of like, oh, okay, see you next year. And then these fuckers just show up and they're like, it's still on, baby, and start fucking up the townsfolk. Like that was creepy. And then the cops arrest the minorities.
Yeah.
This is small town Texas.
So yeah, of course we want to arrest them, not listen to them.
Not the fuckers in Purge costumes who are lying dead there. Like they clearly do it.
I did like the build-up, like when they're attacking them, and then the other group gets attacked, and then you're just seeing the chaos happen in the town. Like seeing the chaos happen, and then it gets like bigger and bigger, and they're talking about how it's happening all over the US.
Yeah.
I thought those were some really, like, the scenes of seeing it all go down were extremely well done.
Well, I think the scenes where they say, like, the Purgers have overwhelmed the U.S. military and they're pulling out of El Paso. In my mind, I'm thinking, no. But, I'll take it for a movie.
Well, and see, I can believe that just because I would be terrified of knowing how it would be. I would be terrified of how this would go down in real life, being in the military. Like, because they probably make all the military people go to base, lock down the base, keep the government issued bodies safe, and eventually someone's going to fucking snap in that base and do something.
Yeah, probably. But just the fact that like a bunch of looters, even with guns and shit, could overwhelm the fucking army. I don't buy that.
You'd be surprised. But I'd also highly doubt it. You'd have to have a pretty sizable army. Unless, of course, again, it was shown to be a pretty coordinated attack. They could have had someone on the end plant bombs earlier.
It's true. Of course, I'm sure at some point the military would just deploy the drones and just fuck these people up. So this is going to be a short-lived revolution.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, I really don't think in real life, I don't think we'll ever get to a point where that's, like, allowed. Just because as human beings, I think, we just would not go that far. But also, if like it were to go down, like let's say a revolution like this were to go down, I don't think it would overwhelm America. I think the military put a pretty swift stop to it.
When it comes to people not being on board with this, I look again at what happened on January 6th, where a bunch of people coordinated an attack on the US Capitol and killed a cop. Like, you get enough crazy people in a group and you give them, they think they can do whatever they want, they're gonna fucking do whatever they want. I think a purge in this country isn't crazy. I mean, I wouldn't participate, but I do think like people would.
I think a purge is crazy because I also forget how, like, with that attack, and this is not to demean or belittle. I absolutely am appalled that even happened in this country. But it also got stopped fairly quickly once reinforcements finally got there because they didn't staff up enough police there. So that's why I say, like, I really don't, because in real life we'd be able to handle a situation like that a lot better than what they depict in movies. And yeah, you're right. There's crazy people out there. I don't think enough to really warrant like a purge being a thing. I think it's just a bunch of idiots that get together thinking they're going to do something and then they get squashed by everyone else.
I hope you're right. I hope some crazy ass political party doesn't come into power and suggest something similar. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, I won't be surprised.
And I'm also always of the belief that, like, for every bad, there must be good, right? Good follows. And I really do think that I'm trying to be careful because of my job. What we went through under the prior administration and a lot of the hate you were seeing online and in the ward, in a way, I'm hoping that because that the hate's getting out there, that eventually we'll start to see the good. People will finally be like, all right, the hate's been exposed, it's been put out there, and now we can fix it, and we'll have some good years to follow. It ever since, like, I mean, I don't know, for me, I've kind of noticed ever since the insurrection, things have kind of quieted down. Now that, restrictions are being lifted, people seem to be a little bit happier going back out, being people again. So hopefully we're on the track to better things here.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm just a negative, pessimistic motherfucker who doesn't like slasher films and doesn't trust this country anymore. That's probably what's going on.
It's probably what's going on, buddy.
Yeah. Self-awareness is important. So yeah, this movie hit me a little harder than I expected to, because I was like, this makes sense to me.
Like I said, to me, this plot it terrified me the most. The idea, like, okay, yeah, I'm not saying a purge idea of purge isn't terrifying, like a night where crime's legal, but the idea that people would get to a point where one night is not enough.
Yeah.
And they say, fuck what that siren tells me, I'm purging forever.
I love the sound of that siren, by the way. There's something so creepy about that fucking siren in all 5 films. Just like, oh boy, like,
I like how the series knows it, because they make a point to play the message and do the sirens every single time. The TV show did it also. So I love how they're very aware that that's become like a key part to this franchise.
Yeah.
And they keep it intact for every single film and 2-season TV show.
Yeah, damn straight. I like the idea that Mexico and Canada open their borders for the American refugees. That made me laugh.
Yeah, only for 6 hours. That's why I love to, like, whoa. 6 hours, let's calm down. I love how, like, El Paso got so bad that they just shut it down immediately. They're like, fuck off. You guys took out your army. Stay out. Get out of here.
And then I like the little, like, the Mexican news at the end talking about, like, what they're going to do with all these American dreamers and how they're going to, they're taking up jobs in their country. And I'm like, shoes on the other foot. It's an interesting, angle to take. And I get how, it's political, but I kind of like when shit gives me that little jab. I like that.
Like I said, I know I sound like I'm so against it. I'm not against movies having like a political message or anything at all. I think it's actually important if you're going to do it because it makes people talk. I mean, look at us on this part. It's making us talk right now. I very much like either a nice healthy balance or it be a little bit broad because at the end of the day, I kind of want to enjoy the movie mostly. So just for, like I said, just for me personally, when I noticed it becoming less broad, more direct with the fourth movie and to this one to an extent, I was like, it was just a slight negative. I still enjoyed the hell out of the movie. It's just a slight negative is all. But I still enjoyed the movie.
You're making me think of Michael Keaton and the other guys when he tells everybody to gather around and he's like, all right, just back up a bit there. No, wait, that's too much. Just bring it in just a little. Like you need that. You need everyone to be right in that sweet spot.
Yeah. I need a sweet spot with the comment.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just find it amusing.
Yeah. I can tell. This one had like, and it's interesting. The Purge, another thing I want to point out was like these Purge films, like they're not the goriest fucking franchise out there, but when they go for it, they do a good job. And this one had some good gore effects at times.
I agree. I liked the when the Native American dude showed up to like get them into Mexico, and he's like, "We've been fighting this war 500 years. Like, goddamn you, this isn't my fight." Like, that was sweet. It was cool to watch. The minorities, fuck up the white supremacists. Like that felt good.
Yeah, and that was that was it. That was the other thing I wanted to point out. I think that made this terrifying is that I could believe that if anyone in this country, let's say the Purge was a thing and wanted to keep it going forever, it would be those type of people.
Absolutely. Well, that's never been a secret in this franchise. It's always been, people who hate the poor, people who hate minorities, people who hate, just the homeless. Like, absolutely. Everyone who loves purging is purging those people. And yeah, now it's finally, a little bit more on the nose. But yeah, it's those fuckers got theirs. It was nice.
Yeah, they did. Granted, now that seeing the movie, I wish the trailer put the fucking bad dudes, the head bad dude, like death in the damn trailer. Because when it was happening, and you remember in the main trailer, and he's like, "Does this translate?" And you hear the gunshot, and then I'm watching the movie, I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Well, yeah, but you didn't know who he was shooting, like.
Not at the time, but it's like, look, I get it. I like trailers. I'm not one of those that's like saying the trailer puts everything in the movie. It's just sometimes. Sometimes I do. It's just one of those cases where as I was watching, I was like, fuck, they put that in the damn. I would have left that part out of the trailer. Because then you're putting like essentially the antagonist's death in the fucking trailer. Like, yeah, I know he's going to die, but like, don't take it from me. I want to see it.
The worst offender of too much in the trailer to me has been Terminator Genesis. When they straight up revealed John Connor's a Terminator now, which should have been a huge fucking like, oh my God, in the movie. But we all went in just with no surprises.
To me, that one, and then with the Pet Sematary remake, when they completely revealed that they switched the genders. Yeah. It's like, look, it would be like, look, I could care less if you want to switch the kids in the movie. I get it. I'm fine with it. It probably would have worked very well. But God damn it, don't put it in the trailer.
That first trailer for Pet Sematary, that was just the bare bones with the drum music. That is one of the creepiest fucking trailers ever. I've still watched that trailer back, like, sometimes to get like a little bit of like what could have been, because that was a perfect trailer. That was creepy. What happened? Damn it. I hate when bad things happen to good movies. Potentially.
Yeah.
Forever Purge. Anything else you'd like to bring up?
The ending to this one. So I know I just kind of like bitch about how they undo the ending to the third one. All right. If you're going to make a sixth one, for the love of God, do not undo the fucking ending to this one. Because this movie had the most, to me, like one of the best endings, in that it was both at the same time, the most nihilistic ending and yet the most hopeful ending this series has done. Because, yeah, America is fucking burning, but you're also getting the news report that the NFFA is now for sure done. Like, now it's like, no, you fucked up. The country is like ruined because of you.
All right. I like that. I have an idea for a sixth movie. that would kind of make it like an Escape from New York kind of thing. See, look, I can't even be original anymore in these days. So we play off the end of the Forever Purge, and the Purgers have taken over a sizable portion of the country, led by the new founding fathers. Like, Purge world is always happening. And regular America is over here, and we're at a constant civil war, kind of a DMZ, North Korea, South Korea thing.
Mhm.
And new president, like, their plane crashes on the other side, and like Frank Grillo leads a team of commandos into Purge world to save like the president's daughter or something.
I'd be down for that. Was he like this series of Viagra? Because ever since he left, I just haven't liked the sequels as much as the ones that he was in.
Yeah. And bringing him back would be fucking awesome, especially, you know, in a high position of power after, you know, being the president's security. He would probably be like a go-to guy for a Black Ops mission.
Yeah.
Like, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I would be down. Because, yeah, again, if they just stick with the ending that was in Texas, I was impressed with this ending. It showed our country on fucking fire and in ruins, but it gave the hope that, look, the NFFA is down. We're going to do what we can to quell this and never enact the Purge again and try to rebuild our country.
Yeah. You could call it the Purge War.
Oh, that would work.
Boom.
Yeah.
Call me James DeMonaco. We'll do lunch.
You know what they're probably going to do, though? It's just completely fucking refix the goddamn thing, though.
You're probably right.
They'll do a quick throwaway, like, well, we crunched it and we got it all back together, and NFFA was cleared of everything, and they were back in charge. We're all good purging again.
Well, I mean, they run the government. Of course, they're going to be cleared. Oh, well, I enjoyed it. I give the Forever Purge an 8. Like the rest of these films, I found them crazy and entertaining.
I give this one a 7. I still overall enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. It's just, I don't know, like 2 and 3 really hit a sweet spot for me that just works, and it hasn't been matched since those two.
Fair enough. I get it.
And I just, God, undoing the ending and not, oh, God.
That really bugged me, and the whole time I'm in the theater, I'm thinking like, this movie better be fucking great, because that really pissed me off.
If you could have justified it saying the movie wouldn't work if you didn't do that, I'd accept it. I'd be fine. Be like, okay. But the movie would have worked fine with the ending intact. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. Thanks for listening, everybody. This was a big episode. See all these movies we talked about if you want to. If not, don't. I don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. I recommend personally from this bunch, Werewolves Within, Forever Purge, and Tomorrow War. Pretty good movies.
From this bunch, I would recommend Werewolves Within, Fear Street, and Till Death. Check those out.
So yeah, just basically, I think if you could take anything away from this, don't watch No Sudden Move. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, you know what? Watch American the Motion Picture before you watch that. At least you might get entertained by just the sheer craziness.
Yeah, Run the Jewels does part of the soundtrack. I mean, what more do you need? Some comedy. That's what I need. So next week is very special. We finally get to do a Marvel movie with the long-awaited release of Black Widow. Very excited. You can see it in theaters or $30 on Disney Plus if you really want to do that to yourself.
I already got a ticket for the theater and it was way cheaper.
Yeah, this is another one that got pushed last year. Beginning of Marvel's Phase 4. I guess not anymore. The shows are, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. Also on Netflix, we'll have Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Looking forward to both of these, but obviously Black Widow is a big one. And I'm more looking forward to Fear Street just to see who it rips off next. So we will see. I have a feeling Sleepaway Camp and Friday the 13th are going to get torn apart.
Oh, which books it follows next?
What book did the first one follow?
Book series. I don't know.
Oh.
I haven't. It's been a while since I read the book, so.
Oh, okay.
But again, they're based off books, so it's not really ripping off if it's based off pre-existing material.
It is if you ignore that material.
They didn't ignore that material though, so
I feel like they did. Check out Saint Maud on Wednesday's Filmgazm and What's Eating Gilbert Grape on Oscar Sunday. Have a great week and keep watching movies, unless they're slasher films.
Only if they're slashers.